June, iHeart stations will highlight WNC businesses on air, and you can lend your support by shopping local. We are coming back together. We are WNC Strong.
NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring correctional officers statewide. Benefits include a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and health insurance. That's right, a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and health insurance. Explore a career in criminal justice and learn what it actually involves. Looking for dedicated people with integrity and compassion who are interested in a stable and rewarding career. Visit dac.nc.gov/cojobs. dac.nc.gov/cojobs.
Missing football? Nonsense. The season never ends in the Sportstocracy.
This is like the spark we need.
There is no off-season with these guys.
And the draft is everything.
Weekdays at noon.
Welcome to the Sportstocracy.
Heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app.
No.
I got some big news for you. April 30th is Invisalign Day at Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry. You don't want to miss this. Free consultations all day, plus giveaways and prizes. And get this, one lucky winner will even get their Invisalign treatment for free. If you've been thinking about straightening your smile, then this is your chance. Spaces.
Still with me?
Want to call Asheville Smiles now?
Yeah.
Your spot. Don't forget to mark your calendar for April 30th and call to set up your appointment. It's 828-251-2426.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingalls studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeart Radio app. Free never sounded so good. Live from the Ingalls studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, and we are seen everywhere on the YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat each and every day. It is officially 2 weeks until the NFL draft. Jeremy Green, 14 days. To Green Bay, Wisconsin.
What it do? Hey, look, we didn't get to do this yesterday. Tank, I need you to hit your favorite button because we have breaking news.
Oh.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
The 2025 NFL Draft Board is done.
Oh.
It is done. This is the earliest I've ever been done. We're not tinkering. I've already got my entry ready for the top 100. I had to put Jalen Milroe in it, which I didn't want to do, but I did. We're done. We have 259 draftable prospects in this draft. We have another 250 guys that are, I don't really know what to call them because we're not doing graphics for them or anything like that. I think we should have a drinking game during day 3 of the draft because I'm telling you right now, if a player goes in the first 2 days that we don't have visuals for, you should just write that kid off right now because he's DED dead. That means he wasn't in my top 259. He shouldn't go in the top 102. I think we should have a drinking game during day 3. Every time a player is selected that Jeremy was not prepared for, we have a sip of our beers.
Okay.
I don't think you'll end up you might not be good to drive, but I think you'll just sleep it off. I don't think anybody's going to die.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I was going to say, I can't hang in long if there's going to be a bunch of these guys. But with the amount of legwork that you have done, there shouldn't be any. I wouldn't think.
Well, what I'm saying is
500 freaking prospects, you better get them all.
Okay, allow me to rephrase. What I mean is guys that are not on my top 259.
Ah, gotcha.
I mean, I'll be
Well, that
prepared. If you take a guy I'm not prepared for, you did it wrong. Straight up. Matt Miller and I were talking the other day. He's got 600 guys ready for day 3, and I'm like, that's at least 200 too many.
No doubt.
He's doing day 3 for ESPN
Just for
National.
day 3?
Just for day 3. So Matt gets put in a really bad spot. Because Kuiper does day 1 and 2, and then Matt Miller comes in for day 3 and goes, hey, I did all the legwork. I'm the guy that did the heavy lifting here. It's that day 3's tough. Day 3 is for the seriously broken of us. And I love that we have so many of them that listen to this show.
All right, it is the Sportsocracy. This is CSPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. It is another day closer to the 2025 NFL Draft. Today on the program, we have more A-plus mock drafts to go through. 2 more divisions down today, and the last 2 divisions tomorrow. We're going to the AFC and NFC Norths today. Start with the AFC.
We have way less picks today because we've got a slew of teams. Minnesota has 4 picks total. Good for you.
Okay.
They should make a trade down. I don't know. This is one of the rare times that I don't know that it's better for them to do that. Because you need a very specific player, and if you go down much from 23, you're running a risk of walking out of this here draft without one.
Starting with the AFC North, we've been going in draft order. We've got one at number 2, so I guess we'd have to start with the Cleveland Browns, huh? A-plus mock drafts. Where is your mindset if you're Andrew Berry going into this draft with all of the, iffiness around your quarterback situation and the contract with Deshaun Watson, and you just settled the Myles Garrett thing, like he asked for a trade, and then you went, you know what, we're going to give you dumb money to stay, and he took it, and good job for you. But how do you even get back on track from a team that we thought was just that one step away, right? You needed a competent quarterback to be a good team and threaten the top of this division. But that's not in the cards anymore, is it?
No, Cleveland is in, at least to me, Cleveland is in a bit of I like to call these the catbird seat in the draft, because here's what you should be doing. It's not what you are doing, but it's what you should be doing. You should be sitting at 2, going, there are 2 generational prospects in this class. No matter how you look at it, there are 2. Physically, the law of numbers, there's no law of gravity for numbers, but I'm making it now. The law of numbers says Tennessee cannot make 1 pick into 2 guys. So if you take Abdul Carter, I will take Travis Hunter. I think you're going to take Cam Ward, so I'm going to have a shot at both of them. The question is, can you avoid being dumb and taking the redundant player? I think Travis Hunter is redundant for Cleveland. I don't think your secondary is as bad as you think it is. They weren't good last year, but you also got to look at what they went through last year. All right, star running back comes back off injury, gets hurt again. Your quarterback was terrible. That didn't change the talent. Martin Emerson's still a good corner. Greg Newsome is still a good corner. Your receiving corps, look, there are a lot of dudes in this class. So for me, I'm going to sit at 2. Tennessee seems it's getting. I'm almost to the point that I believe they're taking Cam Ward. I'm not fully there yet, but I'm getting closer. I'm going to sit at 2, and I'm going to take Abdul Carter, and I'm not going to think about it twice. Fact or fiction, that gives me the best pass rush in the NFL.
Fact.
Name me any 2 teams, or name me any team that has 2 pass rushers as good as Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter.
I don't think you got one.
The only one that's even in your ballpark is Houston with Danielle Hunter, and I don't have Kuntz that high.
Okay.
I do have Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson both in the top 10 to 15 of edge rushers in the league. I think Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett can both be top 5. That's rare air. That's what you do. Because what's going to happen? Now you can't double team either one of them. Or you have to choose one and pray to the holy gods that whoever you left single coverage doesn't just get eviscerated by Carter or Garrett.
Yeah.
This is not hard. I mean, the beauty of the NFL draft, and the reason that I've been pretty good at it over the years, it's not that hard. You need an edge rusher on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. You do not need a corner. And receiver's a need, but it's not that high, and Travis Hunter's not worth a second pick as just a receiver. Take Abdul Carter and be done with it. But what are we going to do at quarterback? Well, give me a minute, and I'll tell you. You get your panties out of a bunch, and I'll tell you here in just a minute.
You're going to have another pick coming up at number 33.
Well,
I mean, I agree. I agree with you. Well, unless he's going to make a trade here. But, I mean, I agree with you on the number 2 pick. My biggest fear for them is that Tennessee decides to go Abdul Carter, and then you feel pressured to do the Cam Ward thing.
Okay, so let's just, in theory, let's say that I was right and everything they told me at the Combine was accurate, and Tennessee does go Myles Garrett. Yep. Or it does go Abdul Carter. I will still take Travis Hunter. You love saying everybody has a value. Yeah, the value for Cleveland is I've got 2 generational prospects. If one of them's off the board, I'm taking the other one.
Yes.
Because I got news for you. You put Cam Ward behind this offensive line with these weapons, he's LMNO dead. And you take him at 2, there's no sitting him behind little tiny hands Kenny Pickett, by the way. I said this on a show yesterday. Top 5 funniest things that ever came off the top of my head. I'm calling this the Corey Kiner, Kenny Pickett, itty bitty middies committee. Little tiny hands.
The itty bitty midi committee.
The itty bitty middies committee.
Yeah, you better.
And if you're a child like I am, you know why that's funny. And I have to be real careful to not say that when I say that on FCC air. And I had to do it twice.
Yes. So the pick here for the A+ mock draft is Abdul Carter.
For sure. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think about it for 5 seconds.
Absolutely. You would be otherworldly in the pass rush with Abdul Carter. Travis Hunter, if Abdul Carter's gone, you should take Travis Hunter. Again, my fear is they wouldn't do that. They'd take Cam Ward with the pressure from the fan base to get a quarterback. 33. You're trading up, apparently?
Of course I am. Because there's nothing that I love more than a good trade, and Cleveland has just a bajillion draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
You know who doesn't?
Who's
Washington.
That? Oh, okay.
Washington
so
at 29. They only have either 5 or 6 picks. I think it's 5, but it might be 6. I'm going to give them that early 4th rounder I've got, 104. Because basically we've set this in stone that that's about what it cost. It might be in the 3rd round, it might be in the 4th round, but it's going to be a pick right around 100.
Okay.
And I got back 205 from Washington.
They also have 94, so.
I mean, hey, you need 94? Cool. The guy I took at 94, you want to say I took him at 104? More power to you. Don't really care. This is all just clerical housekeeping. Because if I'm Cleveland, I'm getting back into the 1st round, and I'm going to take a quarterback that I love that I don't have to play right away. If itty bitty middies comes in and plays for 10 games, nobody's going to complain with him standing in front of Jackson Dart.
Yeah. All right, so who's the pick? It's
Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Dart is an interesting eval for me. See, this is an A+ mock draft. So in this world, everything goes great, and Jalen Walker falls to the Rams or Mykel Williams or one of these guys that they cannot resist, and they have to take him for the furtherance of the title window that they're in right now, and they can't take Jackson Dart. Then you get all these teams. Minnesota is one of them. Washington is one of them. They don't have enough capital, so they have 4 needs that they really need to address in the draft. They've only got 4 picks, and one of them's in the 200s. So all I got to really do is give you one of those picks right around that pivot point of about 100. Get up there. They're not overly worried about that 5th-year option year because there's a great chance they wouldn't kick it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be paying high-end quarterbacks. You know, if Minnesota's right and J.J. McCarthy's that dog, hey, do the math. When would that 5th-year option pop up? They make a Pro Bowl, that kid could be $20 million on the 5th-year option. Great chance you're not kicking that in anyway. So they drop back, they get that pick, and you go up and get Jackson Dart. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's way better than taking Cam Ward at 2 and then just trying to patchwork things around him. Jackson Dart's legit my number 2 quarterback in this class. And just for poos and giggles, let's see if you can get close on where I have the quarterbacks on my final board. We'll start with Cam Ward.
Cam Ward at 28.
Man, you're right on top. It's 27.
Oh, so close.
Jackson Dart.
I'll say 39.
You missed it by 1 again. 40. Oh! Shedeur Sanders.
82.
You're really good at this. 78. And then finally,
Margin of
Tyler
error.
Shuck.
Tyler Shuck would be. You don't have him ahead of Shedeur, do you?
No, the question is how close do I have him to him?
I think he's going to be real close. I'm going to go 91.
87.
Oh.
If we were playing Cliffhanger on The Price is Right, you never even struggled.
Nope.
Like
Nope.
that dude didn't even get to start yodeling. He went dum da doody. I'm done. I don't get to go anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we've done this we've done this so much. I feel like this off season, this draftmas season, that I think we're pretty and I'm pretty in tune with where you have these guys. It's not hard to see either. So you got Jackson Dart at 33, or excuse me, 29.
Yes.
You traded away 33 and 104 to get back up into the first round. Now, how about 67?
67 is where I got to get a weapon of some kind. I'm going to get the best I can't say he's the best pass catching running back. I think he's the best combination back outside of Marion Hampton. It's Cam Scatterbo. That's going to be the head of my snake. I've got 4 running backs behind him. Most of them are faster guys. Jerome Ford's kind of a thumper. He's not, but he's built like one, so I'm going to say it that way. I get Scatterbo there at 67. I think that's a nice protection, a guy that can grow with Jackson Dart, and it fills one of my biggest needs.
Then 94.
94 is where I've got to protect Jackson Dart for the long haul. Because, look, this Cleveland offensive line is not good. I mean, I don't know if I'm telling you something you don't know, but it's the case.
Well, I mean, it used to be.
Well, I mean, now Jedrick Wills is gone.
Right. And you've got DeJuan Jones taking his place.
And I'm not going to lie to you, DeJuan Jones was not terrible last year. I think he showed that he can be an NFL tackle. I still believe he's better on the right side, what I've seen notwithstanding. So I add Belton, and I add Anthony Belton here at 94, the offensive tackle from NC State. Yep. And I think the beauty of him is that I can play him where DeJuan Jones doesn't play. Because Belton's going to play a tackle spot. The question's which one. And I understand Jack Conklin's still on this team. I trust Jack Conklin to stay healthy about as much as I trust a Kardashian that keeps her phone upside down. Like, hey, why's your phone keep ringing? It's no one. It's my agent. I swear to God, if I see Kanye on that phone, you and I we go talk, and it's not going to be pleasant. He is crazy. So are you.
Yeah.
So now I have a draft. To me, I look at this draft for Cleveland and go, your 4 biggest needs. I went boop, 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 boop. And from here, I can start drafting Muppets characters, and I don't really care.
Well, and it's a good thing, too, because now you're down to the 6th round at 179.
Well, I mean, after I pick it at 94, we might as well just start playing Rocket Man, because it's going to be a long, long time until we pick another one.
Precisely. So in the 6th round on day 3, what kind of depth pieces are you adding?
So this is – and I really like this guy with a young quarterback because I think you can develop him with the young quarterbacks. Harold Fannin Jr., I do think he's an H-back more than a tight end. And the more I've thought about it, the more I almost have confirmation bias.
And I feel like he keeps slipping lower and lower, though.
He does.
To the 6th round?
He does. Yeah, well, I mean, look, where do you play him?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so best case scenario, he's a 2 tight end because I don't think he's a 1.
Is he not a big slot?
He can be a big slot. Big slot. Get your I Heart Big Slots, and I cannot lie, T-shirt on our website, sportsocracy.com. I think Harold Fannon's a nice move piece. I said this on a show the other day, and I think it's the best way for me to wrap my brain around it. If I told you right now you were drafting Kyle Juszczyk at 22 years old, where would you select that?
5th or 4th round. End of the 4th round.
Okay, so now let's go down the rabbit hole a little ways and go, I feel really good that he's going to be that good, but 4 years from now I'm going to have to pay him.
Yes.
Does that not alter where you would draft him?
Yes.
That's my point. That's how he keeps going down, because I'm at this point of that's who I think he is. I think he's a better receiving version of Kyle Juszczyk.
Okay.
I can't really take that any higher. Maybe he goes higher than 179, but the day 2 thing, that's way out the window. Okay. He's going at a spot that starts with a 1 and has 2 digits, and I'm very sure of that. But with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo, that gives me 2 pieces that basically play out of the backfield that I think they can really prop up Jackson Dart over time, and they can grow with him.
Right. 3 more 6th-round picks with the compensatories all thrown in for the Browns. The next one's at 192.
Isaiah Bond. I need a receiver. This, for me, is a lottery ticket. I don't think I've ever seen a receiver in all my years of doing this that I see higher up draft boards that it doesn't make any sense to me. Can you name me anything that Isaiah Bond did outside of that 1 catch? 3 years in college football.
Are you talking about the catch that he actually made in the championship, or are you still talking about that one that he didn't catch against Georgia the year before?
Okay, so you got 2. You have 2 moments for Isaiah Bond. Can you name me another play he ever made?
No, not really.
He was the quietest number 1 receiver I've ever seen. I think he plays better out of the slot than he plays on the outside, but he is experienced on the outside. That, to me, is a 6th-round pick. It's not any higher than that. I just kept doing that as I was setting the final big board. Isaiah Bond, every time he went head-to-head with a wide receiver, he lost. Every single time. But I think he does have talent. And if I can take the lottery ticket on him late, then that's good enough for me.
All right, the next one is 200.
200's Eric Gregory, the defensive tackle out of Arkansas. Okay. There's not a ton there. I think he's one of those depth pieces that you're just hoping to God that you can turn him into a rotational piece. But I do like the fit here for Cleveland because I do have Abdul Carter and I do have Myles Garrett. So I don't want to say hide a guy. I never want to use a draft pick on a guy that I'm going to hide. I will say I can prop him up.
And then 216.
216's Marcus Weir, guard out of Montana State. He is about as raw as you can possibly get for a guy that's played as much as he has. It's just the level of competition. You know, he played at Montana State, which, yes, that is a high side of FCS football, but it's still FCS football. And I'm sure you're figuring out that I'm putting less and less and less into the FCS unless it's just a special prospect. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you something that I didn't expect. Jackson Slater, who I absolutely love, kept falling down my board as I was establishing the final big board because I kept coming up against FCS competition. I don't love the fact that he hadn't played at a high level. Charles Grant, I think he's so special, it doesn't really matter. Gray Zabel, same thing. But you get into that mid-tier and those guys start to fall.
Mm-hmm. And then 255.
This is a name that I have not gotten to say yet. Danny Strigo from Minnesota.
Strigo.
Yeah, he's a linebacker that fits into that Cleveland Brown defense pretty nicely. He's just hyper raw. Very toolsy, but he's also a guy that they were really locked in on at the Minnesota Pro Day.
The A-plus mock draft for the Cleveland Browns. Picking at 2, go Abdul Carter. Get your quarterback with Jackson Dart by trading back up into the back end of the first round. Get your running back with Cam Scattaboo. Throw in an offensive lineman with Anthony Belton from NC State. Hell of a start, and then add, Harold Fannin to head off that day 3 class, that class of 6th rounders that you have. It's a great job by you, Flostradamus. A-plus mock drafts will continue here in the Sportsocracy, going down the AFC North next.
Chronic pain is like trying to get comfortable on a cactus sofa. Nothing.
You're clear.
Thank you.
And forget trying to do the things you enjoy this spring. Golfing, hiking, tennis. You're just trying to get by. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Asheville and Greenville are on the case and focused to finally get you the relief
got a
you
super
need.
chat coming back,
They've
too.
already treated tens of thousands of patients around the country with regenerative treatments that help calm that debilitating joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. With QC Kinetics, the science is solid. They give you your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without any downtime. Curious if you'd be a candidate for these treatments? No problem. The consultation is totally free, and they're happy to take a look and see if they can help you finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now at 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics.
The Rocket Man has landed on iHeartRadio.
Rock it, man.
This is Elton John, and this is iHeart's Elton John Radio.
Every hit, every deep cut, and the behind-the-scenes stories from Sir Elton himself.
It became my first ever hit.
From the anthems that made history to Elton's own picks, all commercial-free, including his new song with Brandi Carlile, the soundtrack of a legend. Search Elton John Radio on your iHeart app to listen now.
There's a lot to be excited about in 2025. And for your Atlanta Braves, it's all about a fresh start.
1-2, he hits one well. Deep left field. Gonna head back to the wall. Boom! A 2-run home run!
Join us for Atlanta Braves baseball all season.
Fly ball deep right
And I
field.
think it's going to
Hanging
be a
high.
long,
Carried
long
back
time.
to the chop house. Look out!
The mountain's home for the Braves. Asheville's #1 sports station.
He's an idiot.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has 2 things that all Sportsocracy fans crave: bold flavors and big portions. Oh, yeah, and they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks Community heroes. Like Trenton Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after
I forgot to ask you before the show. What size shirt do you wear now?
Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Park
2.
ParksFordHendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
A-plus mock drafts continuing here in the Sportsocracy. It is 2 weeks away, the NFL draft. Up in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the Eagles Living the Dream Tour will be hitting the road. We're leaving Tuesday, right?
Yeah, probably right after the morning show to drive through the day to get there for Tuesday night.
Whew. It's gonna be a long drive.
This is probably a bad time to say that we may still be working on draft profiles, so you're going to have two choices. Either you're driving or you're going to be sitting in the back of that truck with my computer drag and dropping scouting reports.
We'll definitely cross that bridge when we get there, and it's going to come around sooner rather than later.
2 weeks also means that we are 3 weeks away from Jeremy turning into the like the Easter bunny. We have Easter, and then the bunny hops away, and you don't see him again for another year.
Does Jeremy still work here? What's happening?
Gone.
Be some gonna be some radio only shows coming up in the spring and summer, as is the norm.
I got my schedule for the week after the draft, and oh boy, we're doing some deep dives on some very specific players. If you know, you know.
Yep. All right, the A+ mock drafts, AFC North, picking at 17. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. How can they get an A+ draft here and avoid another disappointing season?
Cincinnati's tough for me because they have very specific needs. I mean, Cincinnati coming into this draft has got to come out of this weekend with an edge, a defensive tackle, a guard, and a safety.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a corner. The first four things I said are musts. Everything else is, hey, if you get around to that, you should. But there's no, hey, we can pass here, because, I mean, you need this to be for starters, if I'm being totally honest. So you can't miss. So to a point, I almost think you have to be safe or absolutely swing for the fences.
Okay.
Because they only have 6 picks. To come out of a draft with four starters in 6 picks is really hard to do. But
so best case scenario.
I've done my best.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to catch up.
I was just going to lead you up to the first pick here. Best case scenario, who's on the board at 17?
I did this in several different ways. So I did it the first time where they took Gray Zabel at 17 to play guard. Okay. I did not like how that turned out. I did another one where they took Kenny Grant at 17. I did not like how that turned out. Then I did one where they took the edge at 17.
Mm-hmm.
So I went Mike Green at 17 because I really like how this turned out.
How does he fit in with the Cincinnati Bengals?
In terms of as an edge rusher, the player on the field, I have zero fear of Mike Green. I pretty well know what he's going to be. He holds up against the run. He can play hand down or hand up, doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And he's going to eviscerate quarterbacks. Go back and watch him at the Senior Bowl and just watch him one-on-one, just obliterate dudes. It was borderline funny at times, watching these guys that are going to play in the NFL attempt to block Mike Green because they had no shot. And it was over and over and over and over again. Then he had that one rep with Josh Connerly, where Connerly's playing on the right side, which he had never done before, and he just gets blowed all the way up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I said blowed up like that on purpose. You can't say, oh, he got blown up. No, he got blowed up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he practically threw him in the air.
For sure. I mean, Mike Green is that big of a dog that I have no fear of the player he's going to become. I do have a fear of the man he is with all the off-field issues, and I'm not going to lie to you. You better have somebody that watches this kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened there, but if there is credence to that, you better watch him like a hawk. And look, Cincinnati's done a pretty good job of this over the years. They're not as big on the character risk guys now, but I have been told they do not have a canceling grade on Mike Green. So I believe it was Ryan Fay that said something to me of the level that Cincinnati pushes down character red flag guys. I have been told Mike Green is not one of those guys for them. So you take that for what it's worth. It could have been a total lie. I took it as the truth because the person said to me, absolutely no reason to lie to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
there was a time where we joked about the Bengals and character issues as much as we did the Raiders and character issues. Right, when they had Vontaze Burfict and Chris Henry was on that team. Like, there were dudes in trouble a lot with Cincinnati. So hopefully Mike Green won't be the next one.
Also, good point about from Notorious B.I.G. They also drafted Jermaine Burton, who I warned people about for months, and so did I. So they're obviously not completely averse to it, and they took Jermaine Burton on the high side of his range.
Yep.
And I'm talking about from the talent. If he was a choir boy, you took him on the high side of where he belonged talent-wise. So is it possible that they use that as we don't want to get burned again because he did get in trouble this past year? Maybe. But that's not what I'm hearing. So I went Mike Green here at number 17.
All right, their second-round pick is at 49. Is this the guard?
49, you've got to get the guard. Because if you don't take one here, you're taking a guess. And I love Carson Benson. I love Jackson Slater. I love all of those guys. I can't tell you that they should slot in right off the jump. There is a guy that I can tell you should slate in right off the jump. I'm just going to forewarn you, he's not as good of a run blocker as you want him to be. It's Tyler Booker.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tyler Booker at 49, I think this is his floor. Because he's a good pass pro. His feet are good in pass pro. His hands are good in pass pro. Then he gets into the run game, and he looks – how do I explain this appropriately? You ever read the book of Mice and Men?
Yeah.
And you had the big guy that had the mouse? Didn't he have a mouse for a pet? And he petted it too hard and he broke its neck?
Yeah.
That's kind of Tyler Booker in the run game.
I think it was a dog.
I thought it was a mouse, but it might have been. Yes, Gambit fan said it was a mouse. So he pets it too hard and he kills it. Tyler Booker kind of has the same thing because he's a gigantic dude and he's really strong. The problem is that he wants to kill everybody in the run game. And sometimes that leads to a forward lean that puts him completely out of position, and he just gets toroed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know that's a thing. But taking him at 49, how good he is in pass pro, that's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm really willing to risk that I can teach him to stop being so aggressive and trying to just use brute strength. I got to teach him some technique.
Okay. At the third round, 81.
Timothy O'Toole, who is the official counsel of the Sportstocracy, said, I believe he kills a dog, a mouse, and the lady, all for that matter. I didn't read the book. Got to be on the test, did not read the book.
But you watched the movie, right?
The kind of cute girl that was sitting beside me in 10th grade English wrote real big. Anyway.
She had those big bubble letters, didn't
For
she?
sure. She drew hearts over eyes. She was Stephanie, you the real MVP. What else?
Oh, yeah. You could read her college rule paper from across the room.
For sure. She was – and she knew what she was doing. You got me through. You the real MVP. My pick at 81, I got to get either a safety – I got to get something for the secondary. Yes. I wanted to address secondary earlier, but I had two bigger needs. So and I told you going into this, I either have to know what I'm getting or I have to take a big swing. If I'm taking a big swing at safety in this draft, it's Kevin Winston Jr. Look, this kid would have been a first-round pick, I believe, had he not gotten hurt last year. He was in my top 30 from summer scouting this past year because I thought he was going to be an absolute freak of nature. I thought we were going to be talking about him the way we're talking about Nick Eamon-Warry. Now, he did have the knee injury. He has not been able really to run or do anything in this process. So I don't fully know what you're getting. Reports are good and reports are great, but reports can also be fudged a little.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is about where he fits is in that 80 to 90 to maybe even all the way up to 100 range. But if I'm Cincinnati, this is the risk I'm taking. Because after Kevin Winston, safety gets gross.
Let's go to 119.
Okay, so
Cincinnati Bengals next pick in the fourth round.
This is one of those, there's more than one way to skin this cat. I have said that I want to find an outside corner to slide Dax Hill into the slot. What if I just draft slot? They seem prone to putting Dax Hill on the outside. So why don't I just draft slot?
Okay.
I went Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. I love this kid. I'm not 100% sure he will fall this far. The draft gets very slotty in the middle. So you get into a point between about 100 and 200. You have a lot of slot corners. This corner in this draft is so weird. If you want a zone guy, you're basically picking from 1 to 100. If you want a slot, you're basically picking from 101 to 200. And if you want to take a dart throw at a man guy, you're picking from 201 to the end. And they are sectioned off that way for me. So I take the best of them. My slot rankings literally go Jahdae Barron at 1, Jacob Parrish at 2. And so I get that guy right here. And now I'm looking at my secondary going, yeah, I have 3 guys that may be miscast, but I have 3 corners that I really liked. And I got a safety back behind them that can really kind of tie all these things together.
Okay. 153 in the 5th.
Ty Robinson from Nebraska. You know I'm not wild about the tape, but the athletic raw is impressive. That combine workout, no dude that size should move that well. And for me, this is almost Tank, what's the buzzword I'm about to use right here? It starts with
complimentary drafting.
There it is. Complimentary drafting. I take Ty Robinson here, who is a little bit undersized. He's not quite as strong as you would want him to be at times, but he has that first step. Well, I invested a second-round pick in Chris Jenkins last year. Chris Jenkins is a big woolly mammoth that did not move that well last year. So I can pair those two together, and I think they play off each other pretty nicely.
Final pick is at 193 in the 6th.
You're going to hear the name I'm about to say 423 times in the next 14 days. It's Jalen Travis, the offensive tackle from Iowa State.
Okay.
So I've told you that offensive tackle gets Gnarls Barkley at a point.
Yes.
Well, the point where it gets gross is about between the 4 and 5 range. And as I look up and down my board, I don't see a ton of guys at tackle that I feel really good about. I think there are some depth guys that like Logan Brown, Jack Nelson, Johnny Cornelius, Jalen Rivers. There are 2, and Cornelius kind of falls into this too. He's almost like the pivot between. Jalen Travis and Caleb Rogers are the 2 offensive tackles that I see late that I go, you know what? If I've crushed the top 5, I can just take a shot in the dark because I'm playing with house money. I think there's no miss in the first 4 players I took in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Kevin Winston's knees doesn't hold up. That's really the only risk I took. Jalen Travis is not a risk because he's so late. Man, the upside is 100% there.
6'8". That's
he's
a big
boy.
dude.
He's a BDD.
Yeah. He is definitely that. 6'8", 339.
Yeah.
Jalen
and by the way,
Travis.
he moves like a ballerina. Problem is he needs to never skip another arm day for the rest of his life.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, the Cincinnati Bengals A+ mock draft. Mike Green, Tyler Booker, the top end of the draft, filling big needs. Don't forget to check out the latest prospect rankings at NFLDraft.net. Take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get to the next team in the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers, picking at 21 first.
ESPN Asheville.
We're clear.
Thank you.
Your mountain weather forecast.
It'll get wetter before it gets drier, but a scattering of showers, thunderstorms as we head through the...
Going to leave us 10 minutes for Pittsburgh.
That should be
today. Tonight we'll drop to the mid-40s. Little
Pittsburgh
fog
doesn't
around
have a
tomorrow
crazy
morning with some
number.
showers, so a little slow getting out early.
Nah, same 6.
Yeah.
Near 60. Gonna have a little bit more shower thunderstorm activity Friday night with the...
We'll definitely need the long segment at the top of the next hour for Baltimore.
Yeah, because
Sunny
they've got a
Sunday,
bajillion
68.
picks,
Outrage
but
stage
they're
with
all
the
like
Weather Channel.
150
This report is sponsored by Appalachian Sitework.
Need quality concrete? Choose Appalachian Siteworks Ready Mix Division. Reliable, high-quality concrete for all of your projects. Serving Buncombe, Haywood, and Jackson counties. Visit appsiteinc.com for more info. appsiteinc.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
All right, we have two Super Chats coming back. We got to hit them both before we do
spring get-togethers and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360.
Pittsburgh.
From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open
All right.
and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
From the very beginning, iHeart has believed in me.
Even now, I still get excited when I hear one of my songs playing on the radio.
Thank you, iHeartRadio, for honoring the truth I've fought for in my music.
Because we believe in the power of music. All your favorite artists, all in one place. The free iHeartRadio app.
When the springtime flowers are in bloom and the morning songbirds begin to greet you each morning, you know that the magic of Easter is right around the corner. Easter magic begins at Ingalls.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
The Sportsocracy.
You're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
It is ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, coming to you live from the Ingalls studio, also the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor. You can join us in the YouTubes. Just go to sportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. If you subscribe to the channel, you can also chat with us, and that means you can also super chat. All right, Jeremy, and our first super chat, who's it from?
It's from our buddy Soren Eagle. Said, I got something for the Browns. At quarterback, Kenny's the guy this year. You tank for Arch. You fire Stefanski on Black Monday at the latest. And voila! Back to reasonable reality. I agree with everything he said there. Look, if you put Cam Ward, even let's say Tennessee took Abdul Carter and Cam Ward fell in your lap, what is he walking into? Look, Cam Ward's not Drake May. He's not Jaden Daniels. Hell, he's not even Caleb Williams. I'll be honest with you. I think he's way closer to Bo Nix. And, yeah, Bo was successful.
Mm-hmm.
I use with my bunny ears. But you also got to look at the schedule he played. He won 4 games against the NFC South. He won 1 game in a deluge against the Jets. Oh, and by the way, that Bronco team's better than that Brown team is right now. I don't see the merit in throwing another quarterback at this into a bad situation. Improve the situation over the course of the next year and then throw a quarterback into it. Do what Washington did. Even New England. New England had an ugly year where they believed in Mac Jones about as much as I believed in the government.
Right. But Cleveland's in the same place, Cleveland's in the same place where the New York Giants are, right? I mean, Andrew Berry's as much on the block here as Stefanski is.
For sure. And so you draft a guy that, so your guys are on the chopping block. You go 5-12, everybody gets fired. So next year you have to hire a coach and a GM that both believe in Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to put pieces around him and hope to God you didn't break him in the rookie year because, trust me, he would wind up on the field quick in Cleveland.
Yep. All right, and then another super chat. This one from Ryan Fay. Says, just wanted to say great work, guys. Can't wait for more content leading up to the draft. You're going to get all that you can handle. We guarantee it.
The night of the draft, we'll have prospect profiles on YouTube that are about 2 minutes long on every player in the class that I have ranked. Your player drafts them. You will get to hear my unfiltered take of that player. Now, it will not be contoured to your team. It will just be my eval on that player. We'll be firing those on the YouTube, and then they'll go out with your team name as an individual video on YouTube. So we've come a long way from the first draft with the drunk guy on the couch, Tank.
Yes, indeed we have. We'll be in Green Bay for the 2025 NFL Draft, and the Pittsburgh Steelers A+ mock draft. They're picking at 21. Who's the pick?
It's Jackson Dart. You're the start of the run on Jackson Dart. And I mean, I get it. You know, Pittsburgh likes Jalen Milroe. This is probably not realistic, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you're going to like what I do way better than you're going to like what Pittsburgh does.
Right.
Because I think there's a possibility they take Jalen Milroe at 21. And if they do, you should really flip it over to YouTube and watch Jeremy possibly laugh until he defecates himself in public. So we did this earlier. What number do you think I have on Jalen Milroe?
145.
You're not high enough.
Really? Okay. 210.
Man, if we were playing cliffhanger, the yodeler at least started because you missed aggressively the first time. He's 209.
Yes.
And no, he does not have these rankings.
I do not have this list, just to let y'all know. I do not have the list.
He's 209 for me.
Yep. Wow. And there's a chance that they take him at 21.
Yeah, and that would be the biggest reach for a quarterback in the first round since the Pittsburgh Steelers took Kenny Pickett, who was my 144, at the same pick.
I just cursed. Just cursed picking number 21.
Actually, I think Pickett was 20, but it's in the same ballpark.
Yeah. Then they don't have a second-round pick. Pick again in the third at 83.
Yeah, and the analysis basically on Dart is that he's my number 2 quarterback in the class. I still think you're signing Aaron Rodgers, so you can sit him behind Rodgers and give him a year, maybe even 2, to develop that you're not going to have to worry about getting him out on the field.
No. 83.
I'm going to say the same thing about this pick that I said about it when I took him to Cleveland a few minutes ago. Cam Scattaboo. All right, so you got Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren's a tiny little dude that does not run between the tackles as well as I'd like him to. So I need more of a thumper. That's what you would get in Scattaboo. I also need somebody that's better in the passing game. I think Scattaboo holds up better as a pass blocker. So this would almost be one of those weird scenarios where the bigger, heavier back becomes the third down guy and the lighter back runs on first and second down. They got to have somebody because Jaylen Warren's way too small to hold up to the grind of an NFL season. And before you say Kenny Gainwell, I do not care.
Let's go number 123.
123 for Pittsburgh. It's shocking how similar. I basically could combine Cincinnati and Cleveland's mocks for Pittsburgh and didn't even realize it. And it's the same theory. You got to have a corner. Right now you've got Beanie Bishop playing slot, so Jacob Parrish does feel very much like a Pittsburgh Steeler, good against the run, able to come up and just punch you in the mouth, even though he's only 5'9". He's one of the better tackling, run defensive, aggressive corners in this class, and he does feel a need for Pittsburgh. What I saw out of them last year was adding Darius Slay's a big deal. You're committed on Joey Porter, so you're not tapping out on that. The only one that you're not pot committed on is Beanie Bishop, and he was fine but not great. And I do feel like that's still a need.
156.
Tonka Hemingway, another guy that's on the all-name team in the 2025 NFL Draft. He's pretty easy to remember because his first name means dump truck. And, well, he is kind of a dump truck. A little undersized. That's the reason, and I'm sure somebody's going to ask because I've talked a lot about Tonka. The reason I have him falling a little bit is that I'm starting to think he really only plays as the 5-tech because he's only 288 pounds, and I think that was heavy. I think he actually plays a little lighter than that. But you do see from him a really good ability to get after quarterbacks, almost an 11% pass rush win rate from a defensive tackle. That's really impressive. Question is, did South Carolina prop him up? I don't think so. I think he would come in and play very early and play very often.
185.
185, let's see, I've got Pittsburgh backwards here. 185. Okay, apparently I can't do it in the I did it in order part of this mock. That's a good question. It's a really good question who 185 is because I have the next pick, but I, for some reason, do not have that one.
I did not have that one. Okay.
Hold on.
I was going to say
stall for me for a minute. I'm going to get to the other list.
I was going to say the next need, you got like a nose tackle, a 5-tech.
Originally,
linebacker.
I had taken I see what I did. I had originally taken Ollie Gordon here. But the fact that I had gone Scatterboot so early, obviously I don't need Ollie Gordon. So here, I'm trying to figure out who the pick was. I have a million players on this list, and I cannot figure out who the pick was. This is A-plus radio for sure.
It is absolutely A-plus radio. No doubt about it.
Oh, there it is. I got it. Savion Williams. The actual weapon from TCU. Look, Pittsburgh found a way to make Cordero Patterson work. I think they can do it with Savion Williams, too. I don't think their receiving core is as bad as everybody else does. I also don't think Savvy Williams is – I think he's more running back than receiver, but I think he's going – and this is going to be kind of a complicated eval. I think he's going to start as a receiver, and you're going to teach him the intricacies of playing running back. It's going to look a lot like Cordero Patterson. You're just taking him in the 180s as opposed to taking him in the first round.
Gotcha.
Apologies for that. We had a copy and paste error.
That's fine. That's fine. And then 229, the final pick.
A player that they had in on a top 30 visit. I think this is a really big need for them. I love the tape. I hate everything he's done since. Yahya Black out of Iowa. I think he can be a nose tackle in this league. He looked so pitifully out of shape and unathletic at the Senior Bowl that it made me push him down aggressively. But then I saw the top 30 visit from Pittsburgh, and I went, that's the spot that makes the most sense. But where would they take him? And I couldn't – I think the next to the last pick at 185 was too high. By the way, this is also part of where I got a little confused. So I was like, I'm going to take him 185. No, that's too high, but 229 is too low. 229 is closer to what it is. I'll just say he falls a little further than I think he does.
Yep. The A-plus mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll continue with A-plus mock drafts coming up after the top of the hour break here. A bunch of picks for the Baltimore Ravens, one of the best drafting teams in the league, and Jeremy will craft the best one possible after the break.
ESPN Asheville.
We're clear.
Sorry about that. I could not figure out what in the world I was trying to say.
Scattering of showers, thunderstorms.
What was I doing?
Well, I deleted the whole back half of the mock, and I'm like, I remembered Yaya Black.
Tonight will drop to the mid-40s. Little fog around
I
tomorrow
knew
morning
he
with
was
some
there.
showers, so a little slow getting out early Friday. Then better in the afternoon, partial sun near 60. Gonna have a little bit more shower thunderstorm activity Friday night with the front coming in, but that front clears. Saturday, beautiful, sunny 55. Sunny Sunday, 68. I'm Ray Stajic with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Jimmy's Automotive Center.
Well, here at Jimmy's Automotive Center, we believe in customer service first. I feel if you take care of your customers, they will keep returning. That's our main goal. We're fair with them, and we're a good value. Jimmy's Automotive Center, where customers send their friends.
Harbor Freight knows time is money, so for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. This weekend, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll cabs under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point, so you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025 while supplies last. Limitations apply.
The Ego Power Plus Savings Event is on at Lowe's. Right now, get a free select Ego 56-volt battery with purchase of a select trimmer, blower, or mower kit. That's a $299 value. Plus, shop today for new and exclusive items you need for your lawn. So get ready for spring with the latest in innovation from Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Only at Lowe's. We help, you save. Offer valid through 4/16. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mirajoyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why their recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI work quickly to find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
The iHeartRadio app now has presets. Just like in the car. You're our #1. Make us yours. ESPN Asheville, the Mountain's favorite sports station, streaming 24/7. Your home for the Sportsocracy. Weekdays at noon. The Tar Heels and Atlanta Braves baseball.
This is J.W. Whit.
It's the last spot.
Bill, introducing you to this
Good
month's
looking out.
Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short, and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
From the Ingalls Studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good. The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
It is 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and we are counting down the days here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, the Sportsocracy. Heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat, get your thoughts in on the A-plus mock drafts from at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green. He's been making all the appearances on the draft podcast, the team podcasts and such. What did you tell me yesterday? You got like 80 interviews or something in the next week?
I have 68. I did 4 yesterday. I have 11 between the end of this show today and 7 o'clock tomorrow. And then I have like 53 more between Saturday and when we leave a week from Tuesday.
Woo. That's a lot. That's a lot.
What's really fun is when you start piecing them together and you're like, I can't be in two places at one time. And so you're having to go back and forth between, well, I can do 7:15. Can you do 7:30? I start feeling like I'm an auctioneer.
The dance card is filling up because very few people in the industry have looked harder at NFL draft prospects that don't get paid by a team than Jeremy Green. I'd imagine you've looked at more prospects than some dudes that do get paid by teams.
I can confirm.
Can confirm. I don't think I don't know that the teams are doing 500 prospects.
Oh, the teams certainly are. Just each individual prospect is not. I can tell you definitively there is one team that has what was the number? It was like 1,700 guys on their board.
That's stupid. You're just wasting time.
It's insanity.
You're wasting time at that point.
Since we are doing the Baltimore Ravens here, I think this is a great time to hit a super chat making fun of your division rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. From Soaring Eagle, he said if the Steelers take Jalen Milroe at 21, which, yes, as insane as that sounds, that is a possibility, you might as well be having one of the people losing it at the chicken jockey line in the Minecraft movie making your picks. I don't understand that reference at all.
I'm sure you do not. So apparently in the game Minecraft, there is like a little character who is a baby zombie that rides a chicken. And there's a scene in the new movie where the chicken jockey shows up, and it quickly became like a viral challenge for middle schoolers on social media and high schoolers on social media to go to the movie theater, and when the chicken jockey shows up, they absolutely lose their minds and start throwing drinks and popcorn and being loud, and everybody goes crazy. And they've actually the authorities have been called in several instances, having to kick people out of the theaters for the chicken jockey reactions. So that's what that's in reference to. And yes, I did have to sit through that this past weekend.
Is this a good time to point out that the chicken jockey was Tank's nickname in high school? I win.
No, they called me Chicken Jerky. Thank you very much. It is A+ mock draft time for the Baltimore Ravens. Stephen Tao, sit tight. Jeremy's going to give you a 20-pack of picks here that is exciting.
It's
Baltimore's got a lot of picks.
They got a lot of picks.
And a bunch of late ones.
So Baltimore's a fun team for me to mock draft because I can literally run through the simulator, just look at the names on the board, and go, which name is it going to piss me off when they draft him? And I do that on every pick. This is probably my favorite class in the draft, in these A+ mocks.
Wow, better than the Jets. This will be a good one. All right, here we go. Number 27.
I believe they need an edge rusher. I believe they need somebody that can come in and play right away. And Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College fell right in their lap. I don't think he gets the love he deserves because of where he played and who he played against.
Mm-hmm.
He had 17 sacks in the ACC. I think he'd had 16 in the SEC. This kid just wins over and over and over and over again. He's a little bit undersized in that I don't really think his best spot is with his hand in the dirt outside of maybe a wide 9 or in just designated pass rushing situations. But I think he's a 3-down outside linebacker because he does hold up against the run. Then you get into the arsenal of pass rush moves. It's probably the best in this class. I would say his arsenal of moves are better than Abdul Carter's. He's not as freakishly athletically gifted And don't get me wrong, he's a great athlete. Abdul Carter's not of this earth. That's what puts Carter at 2. I think 27 is too low for Ezerako. I have him at, he is overall like my 12. I think he's
12 overall? Okay.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
I didn't have him that high. 16. Sorry.
I've seen several prognosticators try to put him at 23 with Jeff Hafley in Green Bay. So he may not be on the board here, but if he is, can't go wrong.
If he is, you sprint. You don't walk that pick to the podium.
Right. Let's go to the second round at 59. Who the Ravens take there?
So my biggest needs for Baltimore coming into this were, and they really have no red needs. Reds are my most pressing. Yellow is need to address one of the 3 days. Green is it would be nice. They have 4 yellows and 3 reds. Or 3 greens, excuse me. Okay. Colorblind. It's always fun to be colorblind. Ezerako takes care of the edge rusher. Wide receiver, corner, and 5 tech are the next 3 picks, which were their other 3 yellow needs. So wide receiver, you got to have an X. You have to have somebody that can play on the outside because you've got Zay Flowers that is better in the slot. I need somebody that can win over the top. It's Trey Harris.
From Ole Miss.
I get it. He doesn't have the crazy height, weight, speed. He's only 6'2". He doesn't run the blindingly fast 40. I think he ran a 4.54. But he gets open. And he gets open deep. He's really good at the point of the catch. And I just look at him as a guy that, if you watch him at Ole Miss, one of the things I notice about him is he never stops. Something that drives me nuts in receiver tape is that the route runs its course and the receiver just kind of slows down to a crawl and doesn't really do anything. Trey Harris does not do that. He was a quarterback. He has quarterback eyes, and it really shows, especially when you have a quarterback that bails out of the pocket. I saw this obviously with Jackson Dart at Ole Miss. When Dart would bail out of the pocket, because there were times he bailed out really without any intention of what he was going to do, Trey Harris just never stops moving. And you catch a safety that if he starts looking in the backfield or he's got 1 even tenth of a second of indecision, Trey Harris just smokes him.
They've long needed another wide receiver. Hopefully this is the answer.
I think it would be, for sure.
91 in the 3rd round. What need do they address there?
That's where I go get them another corner. I think you really figured something out with Marlon Humphrey in the slot last year. I'll give you that Nate Wiggins deserves to be one of your starters based off what he did last year, in spite of the fact I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. But you still kind of have a hole at that other cornerback spot. For what Baltimore does, that requires a very specific kind of corner. They have Chidobe Awuzie for a year. He is 30 years old, so I don't think it's a long-term solution. So Noel Williams, corner out of Cal. He can play off balls or off zone. He's really good in press man. One of the best press man corners in this class. Hyper aggressive, big body frame. I just think he played at Cal, and people think he was playing with children. Because in the ACC, you did not have a ton of high-level receivers. And if you don't believe me, run down the list of receivers and see how long it takes for you to get to 3 ACC guys.
It's going to be here. You're going to be here a while.
Let's put it this way. Outside of Virginia Tech, who had a few, you had Ayumanner from Stanford. That's the only one that's in the top 5 rounds for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Jalen Lane from Virginia Tech's in 5 for me. And then you got to get the other Virginia Tech receiver whose name is eluding me at the moment. That's the 3rd one.
Okay.
I have an undrafted grade on him. Daquan Felton.
Yeah. So
that's the 3rd receiver from the ACC. And so he's my number 308.
Didn't really have a chance to sharpen the iron as a cornerback.
So people watch the tape and go, oh, he was doing this against lesser competition. Was he, though? Or is he just that good? I think he's just that good.
129 is the next pick.
We go back to the ACC well with a 5-tech. So that's the end in a 3-man front. Elijah Roberts from SMU. Kid started at Miami, didn't really do much, but then showed his pass rush chops at SMU. And I look at him in that front with Baltimore. Just the thought of putting him with Ezeraku behind him. You've got Kyle Van Noy. You've still got Odafe Owa. You got Justin Madubuike on the other side. Oh, by the way, in the middle of this defense, you still got Travis Jones, who to this day might be the most athletic defensive tackle I've ever graded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that defense is getting scarier and scarier and scarier by the minute.
You got a second pick in the 4th round here at 136.
It almost feels unfair, doesn't it? It just feels like Baltimore always has 7 picks in the top 180. And it just seems like somebody falls right in their lap that I love every single time they pick.
Yep.
Holland Pierce from Rutgers. I need a young offensive tackle with the intention of taking over for Ronnie Stanley. Holland Pierce was a walk-on at Rutgers, showed up gigantic, almost 470 pounds, whittled it down. The tape gets better and better and better. The kid just works his keister off. And I think if you're willing to give him 2 years, which with the deal that Ronnie Stanley just signed, you have 2 years, that could be your left tackle of the future. But you are going to have to work with him because he is the tape on him shows a guy that used to be bigger than he is because he leans a lot and he really tries to use his weight. And it's not like he's a light guy at this point. He's 336 pounds if I remember correctly. He's still a BDD.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not as much of a BDD as he was. Now he's got to learn to use his feet, really improve the technique, and with time, I think he could do that in Baltimore.
Another comp pick, this one in the 5th round, though. They got to wait a while as they traded away their 5th round pick to the Carolina Panthers. So 176, the last pick in the 5th round, is their next selection. What's Baltimore do there?
I'm sure somebody's wondering, hey, but why have you not taken a guard? Well, because guard is funny in this draft. If you don't get one really early, I'm going to start taking shots on guys later, and I took 2 of them back-to-back here. At 176, I went Jackson Slater, the guard out of Sacramento State. 183, I went Emory Jones Jr., the guard from LSU. 2 completely different guys. Slater may be able to play center as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but there's a possibility of that. Emory Jones is just a tank. Jones is a tank. Slater's more the move guard. I have higher than they were selected grades on both. And I think if you're – that's kind of like Holland Pierce. If you can give them a year. Slater's got a huge jump in competition. Emory Jones is bounced between guard and tackle. He's going to really have to learn to play guard. But what I saw at the Senior Bowl, he's going to be a really good guard in this league. And he just wants to fight everybody.
Nice. 176 and 183 are both guards. Let's hit the 4 picks they have in the 200s, starting with 203.
So 203, I'm always a big fan of using your local scouts because you have better eyes on guys that play at schools that are around you because it's just easier. You're able to make local visits. So I take a Maryland Terrapin here. I considered his Terrapin friend, Caden Prather, but here I go Ty Felton. It's funny to me that Maryland had as much talent as they did, and they weren't any better than they were. But Felton strikes me as a player that could come into the league. He's super far from refined at this point, but I think there's a lot of juice there. He's only 6'2". Contested catch rate's really low. Drop rate's about average, but he was really successful against man. I think there's a possibility this kid could play out on the outside. And I think there was an injury with him this past year. He started last year with his hair on fire. UConn, Michigan State, Virginia, and Villanova. That was his 4 best games of the year. He never had another one after that was even in the ballpark. I think he had an injury and would be of value because he's been pushed down the board.
All right, that was 203. Let's go 210.
Jay Higgins from Iowa. We've talked about him a decent amount, that the long speed's not there, but you put him next to Roquan Smith. You know I do not love Simpson, the linebacker they got from Clemson. I never really figured out where he was going to play. I still think he's just Trenton Simpson's his name. I couldn't think of his first name to save my life. I still think he's going to be, in large part, just a sub linebacker. So you put Higgins with him. Higgins is out of this world good in coverage. Not great against the run, though. 212's right. Malik Verdon, gigantic safety from Iowa State. Absolute thumper. He and Kyle Hamilton are built exactly the same. Verdon is way faster, but doesn't have nearly the instincts or the ball hawk ability that Kyle Hamilton does. But he is still one of those guys that you put him on special teams, he's not going to be fun. You see a 6'4" dude that can run like that's just screaming down the field at you. Pretty good.
243, 7th round.
One of Tank's favorite names in the draft, Efton Chisholm out of Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington. They had him in for a top 30 visit. I think he's definitely a player I could see winding up with the Baltimore Ravens. He would be a second slot because he can't really play on the outside, but he's so crafty in the way that he runs routes. Not the most athletic catch you've ever seen, but really good route runner.
Efton in the slot.
Whew. Baltimore, could we have less picks next year?
No, that's what they do. Just get the picks and see what DeCastro and company can do with them.
Baltimore is always when I do their mock, by the end of it, I am exhausted because they always have 7 picks in day 2 or day 3 now, excuse me.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 A+ mock draft for the Baltimore Ravens. We switch now. Conferences. The NFC North. A+ mock drafts are coming up next.
This is a story of the one.
And we're clear.
And specialist for university housing. He knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs.
I love how I just mixed up Eric DaCosta and David DeCastro.
Solid.
I apologize to everybody for that one.
That is solid. I'm not going to lie.
Faucet. Call ClickRanger.com.
God, you talk about 2 dudes that could not look any more different if they tried.
No doubt.
Harbor Freight knows time is money, so for our Spring Black Friday sale, we're getting straight to the deals. This weekend, you get 35% off jack stands, 56-inch roll cabs under $800, and 2,300 PSI electric pressure washers under $190. See? Straight to the point, so you can get straight to the savings. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until April 13th, 2025, while supplies last. Limitations apply.
Roger Caron was 16 when first convicted.
Has spent 24 of those years in jail.
12 years in solitary.
Broke up in jail more than any other prison in Canada.
The Go Boy podcast is the gritty true crime story of daring prison escapes, risky bank robberies, and swift police arrests. And the man who fought his way out of some of the darkest places imaginable to go from an ex-con to a best-selling author almost overnight. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Go Boy, and start listening today.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you, where the fields are filled with flavorful delights, and every bite is backed with the highest quality and attention. This is a place of affordable organic adventure, where freshness reigns supreme, that can only be found at Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the hardest hit areas in those first hours. Like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
All right, we're back in the Sportsocracy. It's ESPN Asheville. Apparently my buttons are just not wanting to work today. Like, go, computer. Jeez.
So what you're saying is now my buttons work and Tank's don't. Awesome. Right. I can't fix your buttons. I got everything fixed here. But
I don't know, maybe I just need to restart this computer or something. Like, that's the fourth button I've clicked today that's been like, click. And the music start. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. It's first world problems here today in the Sportsocracy. Thank goodness we don't have third world problems like the computer not working, so we can't be on YouTube the other day.
Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? I'm gonna do the same thing to you. You do to me.
I have not. I will do that as soon as the show is over.
Let's go Control Alt
because
Delete.
God knows
you tried that one?
Yeah, God knows if I take a commercial break and try to shut the computer down, we'll never come back on the air. Or at least for 20 minutes, it'll be dead. So I'm not going to try that during the show. But we shall remedy it for the Friday program, a football Friday tomorrow. As we'll continue with the A-plus mock drafts. We're going division by division, and next up is the NFC North. The hardest division in football, or at least I feel like it's trending that way if it's not already there.
It's the easiest one in the league to do mock drafts for because none of these teams have a whole mess of picks.
First team picking from the North, the Chicago Bears.
Now, I do have to admit, I did this before I saw the PFF mock draft that had Chicago trading up to 2 to take Abdul Carter. Okay, I'll give you that. If that's
That'd
on
be
the
good.
Excuse me. If that's on the board, you should do that. If Cleveland calls and says, "Hey, we'll give you 2 for 10, 39 and 41." Don't call them back.
Mm-hmm.
Just okay. Okay, we'll do that right now. Because I look at Chicago, they don't have a ton of needs either. But the needs they do have are at positions that are really deep in this class. So you need an edge. In that scenario, you could go up and get the best edge in this class. You need a running back. You need a slot receiver. I still think you need a linebacker, a corner, and a guard. And when I say a guard, I mean a younger guard that you develop over time. I can deal with every bit of that later in this class. So if that's on the board, I do that. Do you
Trade
agree
up
or
to 2.
disagree?
Trading up to 2?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to cost me, one of those second-round picks and probably one next year?
Oh, I think it would cost y'all 3 of them.
So we're giving up 39, 41, and a 2 next year.
No, I didn't say anything about a 2 next year. I think it's just the 2s this year.
Oh, okay.
So on the trade value chart, and obviously this is not a set in stone thing.
Right.
You're at 2,600 to get to 2. 10 is 1,300. Yeah, you'd have to give them both up.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd have to give them both up and then some.
Ouch.
But, I mean, I look at Chicago and go, is that not worth it?
I would believe so.
And then if Travis Hunter were to go at 2, all right, now I'm going to get super kooky madookie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Travis Hunter goes at 2 to Cleveland. Then the Giants are on the clock at 3. We all know who they want. Do you not think the Giants would be willing to come down to 10? I don't really think the Saints are in on Shedeur Sanders, and I haven't thought that the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm the Giants, I can go down there and get that much capital to move down 7 spots and still get the guy I want. I'm at least making the call.
Right.
Now, that is not what I did in this scenario. But when I saw it yesterday, I went, oh, that might be A-pluser than mine. Even if it means the rest of your class is a bunch of undrafted free agents, I'm not sure that I care.
Okay. So in your version here, what was the edge rusher that you got at 10?
Mike Green. If I'm taking a guy that's a designated pass rusher, it's going to be Mike Green. James Pierce is not as high on other people's boards as he is on mine. Mike Green's he's 6 overall for me.
Mm-hmm. And, man, him and Montez Sweat together on the same line.
It's not going to be nice. It's not what you do to teams. I mean, it's exactly like we talked about with Cleveland, with Garrett and Carter.
Yes.
You got Mike Green and Montez Sweat. I can't tell you you're going to be the greatest run-stuffing team I've ever seen in my life, but by God, you're going to get after quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And before anybody asks, no, Ashton Jeanty, even if he's on the board at 10, is not an A+ for me.
39 in the second round. This is the Carolina pick, the last pick from the DJ Moore trade, the Bryce Young trade.
This is where I get your running back. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa is the one that I have had circled for the Bears basically this entire process because he's the one that reminds me the most of David Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's big, he can run between the tackles, and he's still got that home run hitter speed. Genty's not big enough. Marion Hampton, I like better than all of these guys. But for the role that I know Ben Johnson's going to try to fill, I think Caleb Johnson's the best one that you could take. Mm-hmm. Then you kind of use DeAndre Swift as a wish version of Jahmyr Gibbs until you can find the guy that actually fits that role.
As I say, your only other options here would be Travion Henderson and Quinshaw Judkins, the 2 Ohio State guys.
And I don't mind either one of those, but I like Caleb
Swift.
Johnson better than both.
Mm-hmm. Caleb Johnson at number 39. Then the New Orleans Saints have a pick at 40, and then Chicago's back up with their pick at 41.
It appears to me that Keenan Allen is not going to be back in Chicago. So that means you're going to need a slot receiver of some kind, and one of my favorite ones on the board because he's such a mismatch. It's Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. You add Jaden Higgins to DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. How do you defend that?
Mm-hmm.
Short of a lot of Hail Marys and maybe a visit to a priest, I don't know how you would slow that down. Because you got DJ Moore that can play in the slot or on the outside. You got Higgins that can play in the slot or on the outside. The only designated outside receiver you have is Odunze, who is so difficult to defend one-on-one deep because he's so good at setting down in zones over the top. That's as good as you could ever ask for in terms of a receiving corps. And I actually think it would be better than what you had with Keenan Allen last year. Because you're more multiple.
Mm-hmm. You want to give the best weapons possible to your quarterback that, well, you know, he's doing stuff. We'll see what year 2 has to hold for Caleb Williams, but yeah, I want to get him as many weapons as possible. Jaden Higgins would not be a bad one at all. Let's go to number 72.
72 is where they still have needs, but this is the dead land for linebackers. There just aren't any. I know I'm only going to get one more shot because this is my last pick. So I had 3 in the top 41. I have 72. Between my 3rd and 5th pick, I make one selection between 107 picks. So I have to take a guy that I'm really locked in on being a piece for the long haul. So I went Dylan Fairchild, the guard out of Georgia. This is a guy they had in on a top 30 visit, which makes me think that they already know Joe Thuney is not what they think he's going to be. I think he'll be fine for a year. Probably fine for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's not probably a long-term solution. If he was, Kansas City wouldn't have given him up for nothing.
Yeah.
I get it. The salary cap, yeah, they could have made it work. They just lost a Super Bowl because they could not hold up front, and they give away one of their best offensive linemen. That should perk your ears up. And I'm not saying I don't believe in Thuney. I'm just saying I want a safeguard. And right here at 72, if I don't take one here, there's a great chance I'm not going to get one.
Mm-hmm. Very few coaches and front offices plan for the future. I think better than Kansas City. Right? They had the foresight for the Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and all of those. There's a reason they've tapped out on Joe Thuney.
They'll tap out on a guy a year early. They never tap out on one a year late.
Yes. So Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia's the pick at 72. All right, their next selection comes down
148.
I lost my sheet. 148. Okay.
Another guy they've had in on a top 30 visit, been really popular in the process. I did not necessarily have as high of a grade on this kid as some others have. It took me years to figure this out. But when you start seeing guys that do this many visits, it should tell you something. Now, what that something is varies by the player. This is one that I think he's trying to get out in front of it. It's Nick Martin from Oklahoma State. The tape on him is pretty good. He's just so small. I think he's just a little bit over 5'11". But then you really break him down. He's a missile pass rusher. Absolute missile. He's not great against the run. I would say he's an average cover guy, and he's coming off an injury. So this might be a little bit high, but Tank, have you got your sheet back in front of you?
Yes.
What's the next pick for the Bears?
233.
Okay, I got to wait for a minute.
Just a little bit.
So if I want a guy, I've got 2 picks here. Chicago has one of the weirdest sets of capital I've ever seen. They have 2 picks in 192 selections.
Mm-hmm. So at 233, what's left?
This is a player that I was not necessarily on. I'm not going to say I wasn't on him at all. I was not on him as much until Evan Doyle pointed him out to me. It's Jordan Lodican, the corner from Bowling Green. Doyle's in love with him.
Trait?
Do I know?
I said, what's his best trait?
He was one of 5 corners in all of college football that didn't allow a touchdown this past year as the closest guy in coverage.
That's pretty impressive, regardless of where you play.
He was one of 3 with at least 400 coverage snaps and no touchdowns allowed, according to PFF. He allowed 26 receptions the entire year with a 42.6 completion percentage allowed. He's an absolute ball hawk. The problem is that he does have some athletic deficiencies. At his pro day, he only ran a 4.63. He's only 5'10 and a half, and I think he plays better on the outside than he would play in the slot. But he's a really good football player. If you're one of those teams that I just want to draft good football players and I'll figure out the physical deficiencies from there, that's a kid for you. Also a good time to point out, they were on him. I think they had a local visit with him. I can't remember. There was a reason I had him attached to the Bears.
And their final pick at 240.
I finally get him a defensive tackle with Howard Cross III from Notre Dame. I like the tape on him. He's got a lot of physical deficiencies that are going to preclude him, I think, from ever being – I don't think he could ever be great. Do I think he can be a usable piece in the NFL? Yes, I do.
It is the Sportsocracy A-plus mock drafts for the Chicago Bears. Mike Green, if you can't trade out of the 10 pick and get up to 2 to get Abdul Carter, your best option may be staying at 10 and also take an edge rusher, Mike Green out of Marshall, Caleb Johnson in the second round, Jaden Higgins to throw in there for an extra weapon. Another A-plus effort from at ESPN Draft Nerd Jeremy Green. We'll return here on ESPN Asheville. The Green Bay Packers up next on today's A-plus mock drafts.
ESPN Asheville, your mountain weather forecast.
It'll get wetter before it gets drier, but a scattering of showers, thunderstorms as we head through this afternoon and this evening.
We're clear.
Tonight, close to or maybe just above 60 today. Tonight will drop to the mid-40s. Little fog around tomorrow morning.
I'm such a child
showers,
that every time he keeps saying it's going to get wetter before it gets drier, I just
partial
giggle.
sun near 60. Going to have a little bit more shower thunderstorm activity Friday night with the front coming in, but that front clears. Saturday, beautiful, sunny 55. Sunny Sunday, 68. I'm Ray Stajic with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by True Green.
We're back in the miller's yard, who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a golf course, and PGA Tour golfers made it their favorite stop.
Get a PGA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at TrueGreen.com. Exclusions apply. See TrueGreen.com for details.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
From the very beginning, iHeart has believed in me.
Even now, I still get excited when I hear one of my songs playing on the radio.
Thank you, iHeartRadio, for honoring the truth I've fought for in my music.
Because we believe in the power of music. All your favorite artists, all in one place. The free iHeartRadio app.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
At Ingalls, we know that fresh means local. The best ingredients don't come from a world away. They come from your own backyard. From the farms we support, to the stores we love, to the tables you treasure. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
We are back in the Sportsocracy. It's ESPN Asheville. Just checking out the leaderboard here from the Masters. Scotty Scheffler on top. He's through 12 today, and he's 3 under par. Ooh, Tyrell Hatton. Okay, just updated on me. Colin Morikawa and Tyrell Hatton both at 3 under as well today. Justin Rose in that group as well, Jeremy. You got it on the televisions there?
I do. It's up on the in the very dark mullet cave. Apparently, it's about to be just like apocalypse now outside, because I looked up at the sky and I couldn't tell where the curtain in my office stopped and the sky started. And that's a bad sign. It's a very dark curtain.
Very good. Just wanted to, point out to, those of us who participated in the Sportsocracy fantasy contest. Richard Spencer IV is leading right now.
I didn't know we were having a Sportsocracy Masters contest.
They sent it out in the Facebook chat yesterday. I think Jonathan Welch sent out the link. So I filled out a card. I have Scotty Scheffler. I have Xander Schauffele. I have Rory McIlroy. You had to pick a first-timer, so my first-timer was Maverick McNeely. And the wild card is Colin Morikawa. So right now I have 2 guys that are 3 under on my 6-man team. Feel pretty solid about that.
That is solid. You know what else is solid?
What's that?
Red Sea taking a shot in the YouTube chat. I asked, how would you defend that group of weapons for the Chicago Bears? His response, let Caleb Williams be their quarterback. That's how you defend that.
That is true.
I don't have a bell, but that was bell-worthy.
Absolutely bell-worthy. A-plus mock drafts continuing here in the Sportsocracy. Thanks with the help of the mastermind of NFLDraft.net. Make that your one-stop shop for draft rankings and such. Of course, run by our very own Jeremy Green. Prospect rankings and the like galore. Leading up to it, the big board, he said earlier today, finally finished, and earlier than it's ever been finished before. 2 weeks
last year, I finished it sitting on Radio Row.
Yes, he did.
I
can vouch for that.
It's this is at least 2 weeks earlier. It's 2 weeks earlier than last year. It's at least 13 days earlier than every other year I've ever done this.
Right.
And I have vowed I will not touch it again.
We've got the Green Bay Packers up next in the NFC North. They're picking 23rd overall in this draft. They've got they've got a few more picks, it looks like, or I guess one more pick than the Chicago Bears. Their first pick at 23. Their biggest need, is it on the defensive line?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to believe so. If you look at their top 30 visits, there's a lot of defensive linemen on that list. And it makes me think that's where they're headed.
Mm-hmm.
So in this exercise, I did give them the one that I think fits them the best. It's Shamar Stewart. I want to say this because this is the only team that takes Shamar Stewart in the first round. I understand that people do not like the fact that he only had 4.5 sacks in college.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. I 100% understand that. I heard it the first time you said it to me. I heard it the second time you said it to me. I heard it the 300th time you said it to me. And then I heard it every time requisite from day 2 on that you said it to me. I got it. I know how many sacks he had. There is a reason for that. And at some point, the fact that he is an elite run defender has to come up. The fact that in true pass sets, his pass rush grade was markedly higher has to come up. It also has to come up that he played over the tackle and outside the tackle and did it in basically a jump rope fashion. I believe he can play on the outside in a four-man front.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what kind of team can he do that with? My thought would be a team that has some pretty significant pass rushers on the inside. They have Devontae Wyatt. And a team that has a pretty significant pass rusher on the other side. They have Rashawn Gary.
Mm-hmm.
I also think he will be able to be a rush tackle. In this instance, he would be replacing probably Kenny Clark on pass rushing downs. I really like the prospect that is Shamar Stewart. And it's not just that the workout didn't really change anything for me because none of it surprised me. Did it surprise you, honestly?
For Shamar Stewart?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, he's one that kind of came out of nowhere for me. I mean, I know we talked about him at the Combine or at the Senior Bowl, right? Wasn't he one of the ones that came out crazy at the Senior Bowl?
I've talked about Shamar Stewart for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
What I can't figure out is what exactly is it that he did when he came to Indy that surprised people so much. He ran a 4.6. If you've watched him on tape, you should have seen that coming, especially when you saw him weigh in at 267. The 40-inch vert, okay, maybe that's an inch or two higher than I thought it would be. The 10-11 broad jump, maybe that's 2 or 3 inches more than I thought it would be. I told you he was going to blow out the combine. The athletic is part of him. But then you actually have to watch the tape. And Shamar Stewart's one of those players that I can definitively tell you when somebody has watched the tape and when they're lying to me. Because if you have reservations about him, I understand. It's just you're saying all of the wrong things are your reservations about him.
Right.
If your reservations that he had 4.5 sacks, I'm not listening to another damn word you say. I'm just not. Because that means you did not watch Texas A&M, and you don't seem to understand that that was a problem for every single player on this team, including Walter Nolan a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's an error in the build. It's a Jimbo Fisher problem. This year it was a Mike Elko problem. Now, if you came to me and said he's a bull in a china shop and his technique lacks and a lot of what he does is off his back foot, and you keep going, I'll listen to everything you said there. Because that means you at the very least had to throw on a bit of tape to see it. Or you had to listen to somebody smart and you're regurgitating to me what they said to you. Either way, that's fine.
Mm. But
I'm officially to the point of if you don't understand that he belongs in the top 25, I don't really have much else to say to you. Especially if you're one of these people that's trying to defend Michael Williams to me.
Shamar Stewart at 23 to the Green Bay Packers. They have number 54 in the second round.
Sorry, I went on a good rant there and I lost my mind.
Oh, you're good.
So they've had Stewart in the building on a top 30 visit. Another guy they had in was Savone Ravel. I think 54 for him is the drop dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should go higher than that. The medical is going to be an issue.
He'll only make it there if the Bucs get a corner in the first round,
which is possible.
Because we pick at 53 right before him, and I guarantee you, if you got an edge rusher in the first round at 19, Savone Ravel will not be there at the next pick for Green Bay.
Be careful of getting your hopes up.
Really?
Be careful of getting your hopes up. You had Ravel in too.
Mm-hmm. We did.
I don't know. I know where he should go. He's in my top 30.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there is a possibility that he falls. It also strikes me with Green Bay that it feels like if you look at their visits, they're planning on taking edge corner. Because they've had a good number of corners in, but it's all guys that I'm not real. Like, there's no Trey Amos here. There's no Will Johnson here. There's none of the guys I think will go there. You got a lot of guys like the Rebels, a really good one. Jason Marshall, Marquis Collins from BYU. They don't have Azaria Thomas now. They play too much zone for that. It's just, I think they're going to wait, and I think their A+ is Stuart Ravel, and that's what we're doing here.
23 and 54 fills two major needs.
For sure.
All right, 87.
87, I think you got to look at the line, and if you, it's another spot that if you look at who they're bringing in here, they agree with me. They need another offensive lineman. I really like Ozzie Trapillo. Should tell you something that their defensive coordinator was the head coach at Boston College. He's got really good eyes on Ezeraku and Trapillo because they were both there with him. And I would wager he's going to be beating the table for Trapillo by the end of the third round.
Most definitely. 124.
I think you're going to have to double up at corner because I don't think Jair Alexander makes it out of draft weekend, still a Green Bay Packer. So I'll go Kobe Bryant from Kansas. It's so funny to me that Kansas has two corners that play completely differently, and they play the exact opposite of how you would think they would based off their names. You would think Kobe Bryant would be crazy aggressive, press man. No, he's the zone guy. He's an aggressive zone, but he's the zone guy. Mello Dotson, his first name is literally Mello. Yeah, that's the guy that gets up in your face and plays man. I like Kobe better for Green Bay.
All right, they have another pick here at 159.
Kobe King, linebacker out of Penn State. He's one that and Green Bay has a history of doing this, whether it was Edgerrin Cooper last year, the name's eluding me, Quay Walker out of Georgia a couple years ago. They really like athletic, toolsy linebackers. Kobe King falls into that. You're just going to have to be patient with him because there are some deficiencies with him that are going to make him tough to play early. But I don't think Quay will be back a year from now, and he would be the ultimate replacement.
6th round at 198.
Nick Nash from San Jose State, leading receiver in college football last year. He's a big X. He's not super height, weight, speed, or anything like that. He's just consistent, got really good hands. And he kind of fits what Green Bay does. Green Bay loves taking receivers in that 125 to 200 range. That they have a deficiency that every other team seems to be bothered by. They throw them into the mix, and they just let them do the thing that they do. Dontavian Wicks was ever only a high flyer. Okay, cool. We'll let him be a deep threat.
Mm-hmm.
Most of everything he does is a take off of the fact he's a deep threat.
And then 2 7th-rounders, 237 first.
Zeke Biggers, the nose tackle from Georgia Tech. I think he can play nose or 3 tech. It's just really a question of what you're looking for. I think, and they've had him in too, I believe.
And then 250.
Jacob Bayer, center out of Arkansas State. Elgton Jenkins right now he's having to play center. And by the way, if you ever want to know why I always talk about these guys that can play multiple positions, Elgton Jenkins is really the proof positive of it. They signed a guard. Josh Myers signed with the Jets. It's fine. Elgton can just play center. Hey, last year he played right tackle. At one point he played left tackle. He's played guard more times than I could count. That's fine. We'll just fill out the other 4 spots. Whatever spot we have left, we'll give to Elgton, and he'll knock it out of the park.
Mm-hmm. The next team up in the NFC North A+ mock drafts, the Minnesota Vikings. We will continue right after this on ESPN Asheville.
ESPN Asheville.
Clear.
Are you going to stack those commercials out? I need
It'll get wetter before
I need
it
to
gets
make
drier,
potty
but
and
scattering of showers, thunderstorms as we head through this afternoon and this
I've
evening.
talked a lot
Even on
in
through
2 hours.
tonight.
Yeah, I got like 4 hours. I got
4
4
hours.
minutes.
We better not have
Little
4
fog
hours.
around tomorrow morning with some showers. Getting out early.
I got 4 minutes.
All right.
Afternoon, partial sun near 60. Could have a little bit more shower thunderstorm activity Friday night with the front coming in, but that front clears. Saturday, beautiful, sunny 55. Sunny Sunday, 68. I'm Ray Stajic with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety.
When it comes to guns, here's something we can all agree on. An unsupervised 6-year-old shouldn't get their hands on a firearm. It's simple. If you have a gun, you have a responsibility. Lock it up. Keep it safe. To learn more, visit ncsafe.org.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
ESPN Asheville, broadcasting from the Ingalls studio at Radio Ranch. Log on to ESPNAVL.com and make us your #1 preset on the iHeartRadio app. ESPN Asheville, #1 for sports coverage in the mountains.
This Medical Minute brought to you by Haywood Regional Medical Center. Expecting a new baby? At Haywood Regional Medical Center, we help deliver joy. And when you have a new addition to the family, you want to give birth in the place that feels like home. Haywood Regional Medical Center has private rooms for mothers and families so you can stay close to the ones you love. Tour our birthing facility in person and see the comfortable rooms where you can welcome the newest member to your family. And when adding a new baby, Haywood Regional Medical Center understands the importance of a personalized birthing experience. That's why we bring together a skilled team of doctors, nurses, and midwives right here in your own community for every delivery. In addition, to help ease your journey into parenthood, we offer classes for soon-to-be mothers and their partners, so you can learn what to expect during labor, postpartum, breastfeeding, and newborn care. At Haywood Regional Medical Center, we'll help you and your newborn live your healthiest life. Visit myhaywoodregional.com to learn more or schedule a tour. This Medical Minute brought to you by Haywood Regional Medical Center.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has two things that all Sportocracy fans crave: bold flavors and big portions. Oh yeah, and they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese. Big old balls. Place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, the Sportsocracy. Heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. You subscribe to the channel, and you can join us in the chat. You'll get alerts whenever we go live, whenever new content comes out from Flostradamus Jeremy Green in the run-up to the 2025 NFL Draft. We'll be in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 2 weeks from today as we prepare for the year that could change the NFL as we know it. Was that too heavy?
That was a
was that a little too?
You sounded like the movie trailer guy. The year that no one could recover from.
You never know. You never know when that day is going to come that things are going to change. And
I feel like now I want to
this
do
could
it.
be it.
I want to do like an NFL draft trailer now for like draft day 2. The league didn't know what hit them. 14 prospects take over Green Bay, Wisconsin, and threaten the world's cheese supply. Liam Neeson. I told you I have a particular set of skills.
Right.
Christopher Walken. Nobody should be able to control all the cheese. John Gruden. Man, there's nobody in the world, man, does cheese like Green Bay. Got to get that back, man. It's really, really important.
That's good. I liked it.
Spring.
With a special cameo by Bernie Sanders. We all deserve cheese. I promise. We will bring cheese back to America.
Special cameo by Bill Clinton. Hey, what's the deal with that intern, man? I just want to see what she was all about. She seemed fun.
Oh, it is your daily dose of dumbassery here in the Sportsocracy.
I was really trying to find a way to get Morgan Freeman in there, too. There's no way that we're going to recover if we don't get the cheese back.
Narrated by Morgan Freeman.
I can't believe neither one of us found a way to do a Jesse Ventura in there. No. I can hold my breath underwater for 11 minutes. There's nobody more qualified to take this back than me.
It is A+ mock draft day here at the Sportsocracy. NFC North teams. We've already done the Chicago Bears. We got the Green Bay Packers in the books as well. The team that, to me, is one of the most interesting, has been this offseason and will be looking forward into this next year, is the Minnesota Vikings. The team that won 13 games last year and then decided, that quarterback that helped us win 13 games, we don't want him anymore. We're going to let him.
How did we end up with Minnesota in the biggest segment, too? Longest segment for a team with 5 picks. Their whole draft board's on the back of an index card.
Yeah, but it's so pivotal.
Is it, though?
I mean, I feel like it is.
I feel like Minnesota might be the most straightforward team in the league.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Okay, what are your needs for Minnesota? You can't see my board, so you have no idea what I said here.
I don't. Minnesota, I would definitely go with a safety. I've had Malachi Starks go into them in my mock drafts for ages now.
I'm not going to tell you if you got the right player, but I'll tell you got the right position. That was 101 for me.
Yeah. Corner is a big one.
That's the second pick in their mock.
And I would say probably a defensive tackle.
That would be the 4th pick in their mock. You only skipped one.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Let me guess. Oh, you like giving them a running back.
Sure do.
You like the backup plan for Aaron Jones.
Sure do. Bingo. You remember that thing I said a minute ago about this is the most straightforward team in the draft?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was talking about. They have 4 picks. They're at a spot that you can't really trade out of if you want to get one of the high-level safety. Unless you're going to take a risk on Kevin Winston, you can't really bail out. So what do you do?
It'd be a risk. It would be a risk because I've felt like Minnesota is one of those teams that maybe a quarterback needy team is going to be targeting them. Like if a team at the top of the second round, bypassed a quarterback in the first round and really was in love with Jackson Dart, you've got to get ahead of Las Angeles at 26. So Minnesota, to me, is one of those teams that people should be targeting if they're after Jackson Dart.
And I believe they would be. Vegas also believes that too because Jackson Dart's over-under right now is 24.5.
Yeah.
The problem is, if you're Minnesota, there's a great chance you're going to have Nick Eamon-Warry and Malachi Starks on the board at 24.
Yep.
They're neither one going to be there at 34.
Nope. If you move back, they are not going to be there.
So what do you do then? All right, that was our biggest need on the board. How are we going to fill it now?
Well, you'd either have to reach or move on to the best corner that's still there.
And see, there falls my problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard for me to look at the biggest need on a board for a team. And anybody that's curious as to why I keep saying that safety is such a big need, let me elaborate. You have two right now. Obviously, Harrison Smith, that's been there for 814 years.
Who's 57 years old.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's, what is he, 35?
6.
He's 36.
Yeah, he's 36 years old.
And then you have Josh Metellus that basically plays strong safety. He also plays a lot in the slot. So you really need a third safety.
Mm-hmm.
You really need one that can play over the top because it's getting harder and harder for Harrison Smith to do that. And if you don't believe me, look at his season grades over the last 6 years. They've gone down every single year -1. You need somebody that can play over the top.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to believe that you would bypass. So I actually don't have them making a deal. I have them sitting at 24 and taking Malachi Starks.
Yes.
I had not
just makes
really
too much
given
sense.
much credence to that because I didn't think Starks would fall this far until we talked about it at the Combine. It was David Smith that put it in my head. And then from there, I can't stop. Because I don't understand with how you play defense. With what Minnesota does defensively, I don't understand how you do that if you don't have somebody that's going to be over the top. And Metellus, look, I get it. You like him. He had one. He has improved. I'm still not jumping up.
Metellus was the one that played like 7 positions last year, isn't he?
Yes.
He took snaps at defensive end. I think he even took 2 snaps at defensive tackle. They moved him everywhere.
I don't have a breakdown on that. He played 63 on the defensive line, played 512 in the box, 330 at slot corner, 33 out wide, 90 at safety, 101 on kick coverage, 52 on punt return, 65 on field goal coverage.
I think I remember that being one of my favorite graphics from the playoff coverage. Was the snap breakdown for Josh Metellus.
He does a lot of stuff. But just like Brian Branch with the Detroit Lions, who we'll be doing next, if you have a player like that, you've got to have somebody that can cover for them when they start doing other stuff.
Malachi Starks is the pick. Here at number 24, their next selection.
I love Malachi Starks, by the way. We didn't really talk about the prospect that much. I get it. He's not crazy fast. He's a great football player.
Mm-hmm.
Tank, you want to take a stab at where he is overall on the big board?
I will say 16.
You're too high. He's lower than that.
Really?
Yeah.
12?
13.
Ooh.
One spot ahead of Ashton Genty.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was getting ready to say was if you take him at 24, football-wise, you're getting a hell of a deal on a player. And the reason that you would get him here is because non-premium position.
Non-premium position, he also is not like a height, weight, speed monster. We have not had a ton of safeties in the first round over the last few years. This year, I think we're going to have 2.
Mm-hmm.
But both of them probably are in the last 10 picks of the first round.
All right. 97 is the next pick for the Minnesota Vikings because, well, they traded everything away. They have the least capital of anybody in this draft.
By a wide margin. Minnesota plays, I'm not going to say, they don't play more zone than anybody, but they're, I think, the 5th highest clip in the league. that is to their benefit because there are a lot more zone corners early.
Mm-hmm.
I said this earlier. There's a lot of zone guys early, a lot of slot guys in the middle, and a lot of man projects at the end. So here with that second total pick at 97 overall, Zy Alexander out of LSU. There are some people that think he's going to have to play safety. I don't agree with that. I think he's good enough of a ball hawk that he can play in a zone-heavy scheme. Last year, what percentage of snaps did the Minnesota Vikings play in man?
Let's go 22.
You're way too high. It was 15.6. That kind of scheme fits nicely for Zy Alexander because I just don't think physically he can hold up. He's thin, and he's much better in a read and react off zone. I would put him probably a full round higher to Minnesota than practically any other team in the league. And he actually winds up about where he is on my board because he's in my top 100, but just barely.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to Minnesota here, which I would say they probably have him in the 60s.
Number 97 overall in the draft here for Zy Alexander. The next one they have is at 139.
You know I like giving them running backs. Because I feel like they need another one of those. And I get it, you added Jordan Mason. That really just changed who I'm going to lean on bringing into you. You brought this kid in for a top 30 visit. His name is Brashard Smith.
He is going speed demon.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be a weapon in the NFL. Started as a receiver, converted to running back, and in his first year at running back, just, casually ran for 1,300 yards. I love everything he does. To me, Brashard, and I've said this before, but I'll continue saying it. Brashard Smith is what you were sold that Antonio Gibson was. Tank specifically, because I think he still believes it deep down in his heart.
I mean, there's still some talent in there somewhere.
Is there, though? Are you sure? I'm not so sure.
I mean, I loved him at Memphis, and I really believed. But, yeah, I mean, at this point, hopefully, you're right. Hopefully, if Brashard Smith can be what I thought Antonio Gibson was going to be at the next level, he will be a Pro Bowler perennially.
Brashard Smith is a markedly better running back. I think in time he will be a markedly better receiving running back than Antonio Gibson. He may not be as good of a receiver.
And then the 6th round, the final pick. The 4th and final pick. That's why I keep thinking that they're going to make a deal at 24. They can't just have 4 picks in this draft.
You would think not, but I don't know what you do at safety. Now here's the caveat. If you think Zy Alexander is a safety that you can also play some outside corner with, now we could be talking.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the fact they've talked to Savon Ravel and Jonas Savanea and Carson Schlesinger, Marcus Imbow, Derek Harmon. Those are all guys that have been in the building for top 30 visits that they do not currently have a pick that makes any sense for any of them.
Okay. So number 187.
It's a guy that you know quite well that they've also had in the building for a top 30 visit, Nazir Stackhouse.
Oh, I do like Stack. He is a BDD.
I want you to defend Nazir. We got a minute here because Minnesota obviously doesn't take as long. I want you to defend Nazir Stackhouse as a guy that watches every snap of Georgia football and knows what you're talking about. Because I saw Nazir Stackhouse at like 500 overall on a board the other day, and I laughed until it hurt.
I mean, I can't explain that. To me, he's not going to push. Like he'll pass rush every now and then, but for the most part, he is just going to clog everything up in the middle. And he has, to me, way better talent than that. than being at 500 on somebody's list. To me, he is an NFL defensive tackle. I mean, I want to say he would be really good in a nose roll, but I think he'd probably be better off with somebody beside him on a 4-man front.
All right, so I'm glad you walked down that path.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. I think he would be better in a nose roll. What kind of nose roll? So if you're going to play him at zero tech, are there two better players in the NFL to be outside at the 5s than Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave?
No.
Exactly. Everybody talks about his run stop rate and his pass rush win rate because they are really, really low.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to do any of those things. He had so much talent around him. All he really was asked to do at Georgia was get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
We need you to be a giant in the middle, and nobody gets by you.
Yep.
And he did a great job of that. And then Mykel Williams and Jalen Walker and everybody else clean up everything back behind him. He was like a garbage man at Georgia. You put him in this scenario with Minnesota, and it makes all the sense in the world to me.
Mm-hmm. I like it. So you only had 4 picks, but you get 2 Bulldogs, so you know that's going to be an A-plus mock draft from me. Malachi Starks, Zy Alexander, Brashard Smith, and Nazir Stackhouse for the Minnesota Vikings. We will continue with the A-plus mock drafts when we return here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. That leaves just the Detroit Lions to discuss.
And at the rate that the darkness is rolling through Western North Carolina, by the end of this, I'm going to look like Edgar Allan Poe, just brooding, talking about draft prospects. If I start rhyming, send help.
Yes. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is CSPN Asheville.
The quest to regain the
clear
round starts now. So be here for every huge moment of the Braves 2025 season.
First pitch, ground ball right side. Diving stop by Ozzie. Got him. Whoa, what a play by Albies.
The mountain's home for the Braves. ESPN Asheville.
Fly ball to deep right by Marcel. That's way back and gone. Home run, Ozuna.
Join us for Atlanta Braves baseball all season on Asheville's #1 sports station, ESPN Asheville.
Roger Caron was 16 when first convicted.
Has spent 24 of those years in jail.
12 years in solitary.
Broke up a jail more than any other prison in Canada.
The Go Boy podcast is the gritty true crime story of daring prison escapes, risky bank robberies, and swift police arrests. And the man who fought his way out of some of the darkest places imaginable to go from an ex-con to a best-selling author almost overnight. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Go Boy, and start listening today.
Looking to buy or sell in Western North Carolina? At Clarissa Sells WNC, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County, selling over 100 homes in 2024. We represent both buyers and sellers, and with a personalized approach to meet your needs.
At Clarissa Sells WNC, real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. Call me today, Clarissa Marshall, at 828-774-6343. When it comes to real estate, we're here for what matters most, you.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has 2 things that all Sportsocracy fans crave. Bold flavors and big portions. Oh, yeah. And they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. this is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy, the 2025 NFL Draft. It's all we can really absorb right now. It's getting too real at the moment. 2 weeks away from the big road trip to Green Bay, Wisconsin on the Eagles Living the Dream Tour. Jeremy has his big board finished. We have A-plus mock drafts wrapping up tomorrow on the program. What else you got coming? You got like 7 rounders going out?
We will have my final 7-round mock draft going out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the draft itself.
Okay.
So those will all be recorded next week, and then they will be put out as we are en route.
Indeed, and the Eagles Living the Dream Tour, of course, brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. Parks Ford of Hendersonville, the mobile studio, going to get us there safely and in style, like it has on all of our trips on the Ingles Living the Dream Tour. Also, Clarissa sells WNC.com. Buy or sell a house, that's your gal. And Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue. We got balls. Yeah, I just had to say it. A-plus mock drafts continuing here in the NFC North. Our final team in the North, the hopeful Super Bowl team of 2026, or the 25 season, whatever. The Detroit Lions. Hoped so high last year, and they fell just short in the playoffs. Detroit, one of the most talented teams in the league, and it's because they do a damn good job in the draft, right, Jeremy?
They do. They're quickly becoming a team that I can just go, hey, what would I do if I was the Detroit Lions? And I can't tell you I'm going to hit it every time because Brad Holmes thinks at a rate that my feeble little brain can't think at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty easy to figure out what their goal is. You look at last year. We said time and time and time again they have to improve the secondary. So what did they do? Traded up, got Terry and Arnold, took Enos Rakestraw in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
Let the good times roll. They address needs better than practically any team in the league. Now, this year, to me, they have 2 big needs. They have 2 red needs for me. It's edge and guard. They have no yellow needs. And then they have a handful of, I would like to add one if I could. That would be a safety, a wide receiver, a cornerback, another edge, and a linebacker.
So when they come up with the 28th pick in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, will they decide to go edge rusher?
I believe so. I believe they will look for an edge rusher. The question is which one. So they've had Shamar Stewart in the building. I don't see any way he lasts this long. They've had Josiah Stewart in the building. I don't think they're going to wait that long because he's just a situational edge rusher. Mm-hmm. You know, if at 102, if you waited and let's say you just took best player on the board, then maybe that would be where I would lean. I have always thought that the player that when I watch them on tape most feels like a Detroit Lion is one Nicholas Hurton for a skirtin'.
Yep. And with him next to
I want
Aiden
to
Hutchinson.
sell that tagline to him. Like, I think you should make merchandise. I'm going to make it for you. You sell it, and I will just take a small little residual.
With the hurtin' for a skirtin'?
Yes.
Him and Aiden Hutchinson, is that on par with the best tandems in the league to you?
I think it would be. Look, everybody judges. What's funny to me is how easy this is to see because of Nick Scorton. He was one of the best pass rushers in the country at Purdue. He went to Texas A&M, and what happened?
Production dropped.
Pass rush win rate dropped. Everything dropped. What does that tell you? It's Texas A&M. So his last year at Purdue, he had 10 sacks. Last year he had 5. What changed? Well, he got about 25 pounds heavier and started playing a position that does not really make sense for him. It's really not that hard. Scorton's a great player. I think he's an elite pass rusher. Now, is he ever going to be an all-pro per se? Maybe not. You asked me if that would be up there with the Abdul Carter, Myles Garrett, Mike Green, Montez Sweat. I would say it would be just behind Montez Sweat and Mike Green. Because Aiden Hutchinson, to me, is clearly the best of those 4. And I would say Scorton is clearly the lesser of those 4.
Yes.
But, I mean, he's still just an absolute dog. True pass set, pass rush win rate is really where you see how good this kid actually is.
In the second round, they pick at number 60.
I don't even think you need to ask because I think it's been the same player in every Detroit Lions mock we've done.
I forget. Who is it?
Marcus M'Bow.
Yes.
He's another one that I watch play and go, that's a Detroit Lion. They had Savanea in the building, and I actually considered throwing Savanea in here just for a different player. But then the fit doesn't make as much sense. I like Savanea, don't get me wrong. M'Bow's the one that can really hurt you in the run game. I mean, I think even with Tanner Erkstad and Ben Johnson gone, I still think what you're going to get in that offense, it's going to look similar. I can't tell you it's going to be exactly the same because you got 2 completely different play callers. They're still going to run the ball at a super high level. This team is going to set up the pass by running the ball. So I'm going to take the best run blocker, and that's Marcus M'Bow.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, he's not a tackle. He's not a guy that can play tackle, is he?
He could play on the right side. I think he's light. So right now his feet make me nervous on the outside. I think he's going to have to add 10 to 15 good pounds to the frame in the offseason. So when you do that, this is one of the ways that I judge a guy. Can he play tackle? Where he's at right now, I think he could. He's just too light. So your feet have to be elite for you to be able to add that much weight and them not reduce to a point where they become a problem. Right. I don't think he can do that. So I much prefer him at guard.
Is the reason that they might have more interest in Savanea because he might make that transition to tackle better?
Well, both of them have played tackle. M'Bow and Savanea were both tackles in college. They would both be making the transition to guard.
Right.
M'Bow started as a guard. Savanea played like 4 snaps at guard.
Right. But I'm saying if you had to move one of them out or move Penei Sewell over to the Taylor Decker spot for whatever reason, then kick one of these guys out to tackle, would you not rather do that with Savanea?
Not really, no.
Okay.
For me, it's 6 one way, half dozen the other.
Mm-hmm.
To me, at tackle, M'Bow's too small and Savanea's too heavy. His feet are good. He's really athletic for how big he is, But I think he's going to have trouble with that really fast first step of NFL edge rushers out at tackle. That's why I haven't evaluated either one really as I shouldn't say it that way. I evaluated both as tackles. Once I got through the evaluation, I had them as just guards.
They traded away their third-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks, but they have a compensatory pick at 102 at the end of the third round. So where does Detroit go then?
So we were talking about this with Minnesota earlier. When you have a player that plays all over the field, it really helps if you have somebody that can fill in for them. So I'm adding a safety here, even though I think actively Detroit has one of the best safety pairings in the league. Lathan Ransom from Ohio State. This might be the best box against the run safety I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He is an absolute hammer. That's the positive. He's got really good eyes. He's got really good instincts, and he will knock your head clear off of your shoulders. Now for the negative. The tackling does not always follow. So he shows up with bad intentions, and sometimes his intentions were a little too bad, and maybe he was a little too angry because he has a propensity from time to time to just completely whiff. I think a good coach can coach that out of him. He's also not crazy fast. So I think he does play primarily in the box. I like him to help them against the run. You got to realize how Detroit plays. Their goal is to get in front of you and then suffocate you. Lathan Ransom can really make it hard on you because he can take away so much of your ability to run. You mix him and Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch. You talk about a defense that can do anything you want it to do.
That's one of the most physical secondaries I think I've seen.
For sure. When the least physical guy you have is Kirby Joseph, I think you're doing well.
Yes. You're chewing kneecaps, if you will.
For sure.
At that point. All right, let's go to 130. Detroit Lions with a pick here in the third round, or fourth round, excuse me.
I have long said that Detroit needs another weapon of some kind, so I kind of look at what have you prioritized in the past. So a few years ago, they traded up for Jameson Williams, who was a outside high flyer that really needed to learn how to run routes better. He needed to expand the route tree. So obviously this is a team that for the right guy has no aversion to get somebody that just wins over the top. So what if I got one of those that was in a much bigger body?
Okay.
Dante Thornton from Tennessee. I'm going to ask just a theoretical question. If you have Jameson Williams playing on one side, Dante Thornton playing on the other, with Jahmyr Gibbs coming out of the backfield, and Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown patrolling the middle, how do you stop that?
Not sure there's a team that really could.
And there would be my point.
I mean,
but Dante Thornton's not a refined receiver. I don't care. I'm never going to get him with more than a safety that is shade helping over the top. So if you told me he couldn't run anything but 7s, 8s, and 9s, is that not enough?
Could be. Let's see, 196 is the next pick for Detroit in the 6th round.
196, I'm going to take another corner. They took 2 last year. This is more a depth piece. This is more a shot in the dark on, I don't know what in the world happened to you last year. But I still think there's talent there, even if I'm not really willing to invest a ton in it. It's one of the best corners in the country in 2023. 2024, he was a complete dud. Denzel Burke from Ohio State.
What led to the fall for him?
Tank, what would you consider a bad completion percentage to allow for a corner?
Oh, Lord. I would say 60% and up. I don't know.
So 72.3 would be pretty bad, right?
Jeebus. Yeah, that'd be
one of the lowest ones I've ever seen.
Whoa.
Yeah, 72.3. So basically, if a quarterback had only had to throw against Denzel Burke in the year of 2024, we would probably be talking about them being a drafted quarterback somewhere around here. Now, let me tell you how bad this actually is. Among quarterbacks that threw over, I think it was over 500 passes when I went down this rabbit hole. No, it's not that many. It was over 300. So of quarterbacks that threw over 300 passes last year, how many of them do you think completed 72.9% of their passes?
3.
That's exactly right. Do you know who they are?
I do not know who they are.
Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, and Shedeur Sanders.
I knew Dylan Gabriel's got to be one.
That's the only 3 quarterbacks in all of college football that threw more than 300 passes that completed that high of a percentage of their throws as quarterbacks completed on Denzel Burke.
Yep.
Now, what changed? The defense changed to a point. Denzel Burke is horror-awful in man, to the point he may end up being a safety. Like, it wouldn't shock me in the least if a team went, you know what? You're not quite as big as I want a safety to be because he's just a shade over 6'1" and he's about $195. The speed is not great. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. But maybe I just consider you a safety and call it good. Because, look, he's a good football player. He can just really only do one set of things.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't considered him as a safety until I can't remember now who it was. Maybe Dane Brugler had said something about it, and it got in my head, and I went, that could be better. Red C said, what happened to Denzel Burke? Oregon happened to Denzel Burke. Yeah, that's one of those tapes that if you're him, you should burn that.
Mm-hmm.
His PFF grade against Oregon was a 42.
Yikes.
I always thought you got 50 for putting your pants on the right direction and not pooping in them.
Right.
He didn't.
He did.
He failed. He failed the latter part.
Yeah, he duked big time.
His pants were on, but they were rent by the end of that day. There was
he should end up playing for the Cleveland Browns. Denzel Burke is the pick at 196. They've got 2 in the 7th round. Detroit Lions at 228.
If you take that Oregon tape away, he didn't have as terrible of a year, but that was a real bad outlier. At 228, a guy that they've already had in the building, this is a guy you should know pretty well. When you talk about situational pass rusher, I don't really think this kid can do anything else, but, man, he does this at a high level. Chaz Chambliss from Georgia.
Yes.
You have any insights on Chaz?
Chaz always reminded me of, oh, man, what was his name? I made this comparison like every time I saw him make a play. The guy the super athletic linebacker that Georgia had that got drafted by the Miami Dolphins a few years ago. I think his name was like Chaz or something like that. I cannot remember.
Go ahead. I'll tell you who it was in a minute.
Yeah. Just as you said, like a freak athlete kind of a guy, but there's no real rhyme or reason as to when you can count on him to make a play. He's just going to show up, 2 times a game.
Channing Tindall would be who you're referring to.
Channing Tindall, yes. Channing Tindall is the one.
Hyper athletic with no plan.
Yeah.
That's him in a nutshell. Now, where I think he can benefit is I keep hearing people talk about he's a 3-4 outside linebacker exclusively. I'm not so sure that's the case. I'm not sure he's not a 4.3 outside linebacker. Because he's stupidly athletic. But he doesn't really seem to have a whole lot of spatial awareness. I want to use the fact that he's such a good pass rusher. But I also have to understand that teams are going to see him out there and immediately run at him. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you're spot on. You absolutely are spot on.
He's one of those guys that you look at it on 3rd and 4 and see him lined up over there and go, I can make this. I can make this. All I have to do is get a hat on him and we will bowl through him.
Mm-hmm.
So you seal off that edge. See, that's where he kind of falls into maybe he's just a special teams guy to begin with and you got to put some work into him. But, man, if you could ever pull the athleticism, just focus on the athleticism and then make a football player out of him.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be a solid Jag if you can do that. I don't see him being anything more than that, though. He's just a rotational dude that maybe can make a key play toward the end of a game that wins you one, but I mean, I don't foresee him ever becoming like a starter or anything.
I don't either. I think he's a platoon linebacker.
Yep. Most definitely. All right, the final pick, 244 for the Detroit Lions.
This is a guy they had a top 30 visit on, and now he is the exact opposite of what I just said about Chaz Chambliss. This kid is also undersized. He's also a linebacker, but this is the one that will absolutely knock your head off your shoulders. Ruben Hippolyte from Maryland. I have seen so many teams bring this guy in. He's not – I don't think he's ever going to be a pass rusher. He just doesn't show the strength to do that. But on those first 2 downs, man, this kid just absolutely – I love his run tape. You get into the pass tape, and it's a lot less fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like it, and he's one of the what's that, kneecap chewers? Is that what that line that Campbell always uses?
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of those.
Yeah.
He's absolutely one of those.
Mm-hmm. A dog's dog, and that's what he likes.
For sure. We have a super chat about the Detroit Lions. It's from Red Sea. He said, in an A-plus mock draft, you should address their biggest need, and their biggest draft need is a medical staff.
Oh.
That is a good point.
I mean,
whoever was doing the doctoring around Detroit last year, you should doctor better.
Yeah. They lost the attrition battle last year.
As bad as I think I've ever seen.
What was it? They had some crazy number of dudes that ended up on, like, IR. It was in the 20s, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. I want to say it was 27 guys at some point were on IR last year.
Brutal, absolutely brutal. So yeah, medical staff may be in the works there. Who knows? A+ mock drafts for the NFC North, AFC North now in the books. That leaves us to tomorrow's show, where we'll wrap up the A+ mock drafts. We've got the Souths left. So Carolina Panthers fans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, we'll get to our teams tomorrow in the Sportsocracy. We still got some time left when we come back from this break on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. And when we come back, I'll tell you what you can do for supper.
ESPN Asheville.
It's the first ever tease of a live read.
Before it gets drier, but
we're breaking radio boundaries here every day.
No doubt. No doubt.
Close to or maybe just above 60 today. Tonight we'll drop to the mid-40s. Little fog around tomorrow morning with some showers, so a little slow getting out early Friday. Then better in the afternoon, partial sun near 60. Could have a little bit more shower thunderstorm activity Friday night with the front coming in, but that front clears. Saturday, beautiful sunny 55. Sunny Sunday 68. I'm Ray Stajic with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Springfest is going on now at Lowe's, but it won't last long. Right now, get 5 bags of Stay Green Premium Color 2 cubic foot mulch for only $10. Valid through 4/16. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Sweetie, come here. Don't worry. I see a lot of patients with the exact same thing.
Ever since the ice skating rink went in next door?
Or is it more than
Dr. Clark's business is heating up.
So many patients need my help. How will I find time to see all of them?
They need to hire a scheduler, stat.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit Target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
From the very beginning, iHeart has believed in me.
Even now, I still get excited when I hear one of my songs playing on the radio.
Thank you, iHeartRadio, for honoring the truth I've fought for in my music.
Because we believe in the power of music. All your favorite artists, all in one place. The free iHeartRadio app.
Welcome to Harvest Farms, where the best organic or natural products are waiting for you. Where the fields are filled with flavorful delights. And every bite is backed with the highest quality and attention. This is a place of affordable organic adventure, where freshness reigns supreme, that can only be found at Ingles. Harvest Farms Organics. You'll love what's inside.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
It is ESPN Asheville, the Sportsocracy, coming to you live from the Ingles studio, also the NFL Draft.net Mullet Manor. Jeremy Green, did you get a roster in for your? You usually play the big, the big like fantasy games for the Masters. Did you do that this year, or were you so consumed with the draft that you just couldn't do it?
I did. I have a lineup in for now for the life of me. I have Scotty Scheffler. I have Sahith Thagala, who I think I've had in every DraftKings lineup I've had for
like
the last
3
years.
Yeah. He can't.
I mean,
stop
look,
it
Scheffler at this point is a must. If you don't have Scotty Scheffler, you did it wrong.
Yes.
And now I'm going to say something on these airwaves that I said to you earlier. I don't think this is a conversation most of y'all are ready to have, but I'm going to say it because it's true. What Scotty Scheffler's doing right now on the PGA Tour is more impressive than anything Tiger ever did.
Really?
Yeah, and if you can at me all you want to, it's the truth. Because when Tiger came in, it was at a really bad time in the PGA Tour. And the 50th player on that tour wouldn't have a tour card today. There are guys that can't get to majors that are out of this world good. And Scotty Scheffler is killing them all. I get it. He didn't win a major by 20 strokes. That was more impressive in and of itself. A 2-year run, Scotty Scheffler's is more impressive because he was doing it against.
Yeah. Speaking of killing them all, the day has started out in Augusta very, very well for Justin Rose.
It always does.
Then
it doesn't.
Rose birdied the first 3 holes of the day, then parred up until 8, and then he cut another one, And then he cut another one, so he is now your leader through 9 holes. He is 5 under for the day. You have Corey Connors in second, who is finished, and he's 4 under. So he's 1 stroke behind with half a round still left to go for the guy who's leading him. Tyrell Hatton tied for second with Connors at 4 under. Scotty Scheffler is still at the top of the leaderboard, or toward the top of the leaderboard, at 3 under par to start out a great tradition. Augusta, the Master. I used to hate golf. I couldn't stand golf for many years. Grew into it as I got older, though, and I'm definitely
it's the perfect old man sport.
It is true.
You throw it on Sunday. The kids stay out of your hair because they're bored to death of golf, and you can sit in your chair and take a power old man nap. It's as good as it gets. You can keep your stupid NBA. I'm good. Give me the golf.
Somebody asked me if I wanted to do something on Sunday this week, and I went, no, I do not. The only thing I want to do on Sunday is sit around in my underwear and just watch golf and take naps. I am officially 42 years old and boring as hell.
Oh, I mean, you were at 22, but it happens to the best of us.
I wasn't that bad. Come on.
Hey, you want to go to a Styx concert? Fact or fiction, that's something you would have said in 2008.
Shut up. I think I actually went to a Styx concert in 2008, so
Huzzah.
Shut up. I'm trying to think. Was that 2000? I think it was 2008.
I'm sailing
it was either
away.
It was either 08 or 09. Yeah, REO Speedwagon and Styx and Def Leppard
for the Virgin Sea.
Was a hell of a
I've got to be free.
Oh, I'm not even a Steelers fan, but when they played Renegade,
only good song Styx ever did.
I came out of my seat. That was
101.
Phenomenal.
Everything else undrafted free agents.
And then Def Leppard showed up looking like, 80-year-old Def Leppard and killed it.
I saw Def Leppard one time by accident.
Well, how do you do that by accident?
Well, because I didn't wait to see who the headliner was I think it was at Carolina Rebellion. I didn't wait to see who the headliner was. They announced it in stages. I just bought tickets and then never looked again. And Def Leppard was the Saturday night headliner. And I went, Def Leppard sucks. And then I drank 400 beers. And by the end of it, I was like, Def Leppard is awesome. Only live, though. I've never listened to another song, but they were good live.
And then you punched your former self for being dumb. Because that's not a thing you should have said.
Nope.
No.
He was fun.
Nope. Saw where Patrick Holt got his big old box for the Masters. The box full of pimento cheese and what else is in that thing?
Egg salad. Barbecue, maybe. I think it's got barbecue in it too.
Yeah. So just those staple foods that people eat down at the Masters in Augusta. That has always been a surprise to me. I mean, I guess not knowing the game of golf and not knowing the history of the Masters and what the traditions of the Masters. When Patrick Holt first shared that out, I mean, he posts it every year that his box comes right before the Masters so he could enjoy his pimento cheese throughout the weekend. I didn't know you could do stuff like that.
A pimento cheese sandwich on a golf course is a treat that's hard to beat.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. The egg salad always kind of freaked me out because I'm like, it's hot out here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's 70% mayonnaise. And mayonnaise is not meant to be hot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But is it as good as having bear balls in your mouth?
No.
Because few things in this world are as good as when Bear Smokehouse barbecues balls are in your face. They have created some of the greatest menu items of all time, not just in barbecue restaurants. I would say of, all restaurants. Michelin star restaurants can't compare with mac and cheese, pulled pork, and cornbread smushed into a bowl, battered and deep fried, and then covered in cheese sauce and bacon. That is a tradition unlike any other, I contend. The Bear Bowl, this should be our new food for golf weekends. That's all I'm going to say. Bear Bowls, Moink Bowls, and then throw in some smoked chicken wings as well. You can't really beat it. Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. They got 2 locations in town, 135 Cox Avenue on South Slope in downtown, and then South Asheville down on Sweeten Creek Road inside Sweeten Creek Brewery. And if you're planning a big to-do for the Easter celebration, you can call right now, and they'll do your catering for Easter. You want to knock Easter out of the park and just destroy everybody else's Easter traditions? You start one with Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue. Go to bearsbbq.com. Jeremy, I think that's going to wrap it up for us for this Thursday afternoon.
I have given you all the A-plus mock drafts I can give you for one day, and now I must rest.
Yes, it's all resting for the next, 21 hours. And then we'll be back with you tomorrow right here on ESPN Asheville at noon.
ESPN Asheville.
We're clear.
Huzzah.
Your mountain weather forecast.
It'll get wetter before it gets drier, but a scattering of showers, thunderstorms as we head through this afternoon and this evening, even on through tonight. Close to or maybe just above 60 today. Tonight we'll drop to the mid-40s. Little fog around tomorrow morning with some showers, so a little slow getting out early Friday. Then better in the afternoon, partial sun near 60. Going to have a little bit more shower thunderstorm activity Friday night with the front coming in, but that front clears. Saturday, beautiful, sunny 55. Sunny Sunday, 68. I'm Ray Stajic with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Springfest is going on now at Lowe's, but it won't last long. Right now, get 5 bags of Stay Green Premium Color 2 cubic foot mulch for only $10. Valid through 4/16. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
From the Ingles Studio,
WPEK Fairview,
WMXF Waynesville,
W225CJ Candler,
the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.